Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Yo. It is I. It is he. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Of course, I'm here. My co-host, Righteous Reg. What's going on, bro?
It's your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster, Righteous Reg, Media Man. It's Saturday morning, Philip Lindsey. Heard some birds chirping before the show started. It's going to be a nice warm one in Oakland, California. Happy to be here. We got a new pope. He's from Chicago, Illinois. Like, a lot of stuff's going on this week, Phil.
Listen, man. Legends only from this city, man. Saying
when they were like, he's from Chicago, I was like, oh my friend is can't tell him nothing. You already can't tell him nothing about his city. Now it's up even more. I love it.
Yeah, from the south side of this very city, from the best side of the city as well. Yeah, man. Somebody asked me how I was feeling. I was like, listen, man, I'm blessed, man. You know.
From the south side is taking me out, dog. I'm dead.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen a lot of the sports pages that were getting their memes off. Like, I saw somebody post a Chicago hot dog with like the communion wafers on it. I was like, nah, man.
I saw some there's like a video of him like at the World Series a bunch of years ago or something. They got him in the crowd. I was like, no, this guy was really outside though. He different.
Outside at the Sox game, bro.
What? I don't understand how we got here, but I'm very excited about it, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, citizen of this very city, first American Pope in decades, if I read correctly. But hey, man, like I said, legends only from the city, man.
Like, there's the Pope. The guy that's gonna sit inside that place has like been the Harold's Chicken. Like, he stood in the Harold's Chicken line at one point in his life, and that's crazy to me.
Oh man, not just the people city, the papal city, buddy. Come on now.
Shout out to Chicago. Shout out to everybody out there in the land for joining us, supporting us as always. Y'all are the dopest. Y'all are the best. What you been up to this week, Philip Lindsey? Anything good?
Watching a lot of basketball. Basketball has been phenomenal. I would not have picked the outcome of a lot of what's going on right now. Go figure, without Garland, the Cleveland Cavaliers turned back into a bunch of pumpkins.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
been wild to see that.
Listen, superstars are real. That's a real thing. Like, there's people that carry teams, and it on the surface, it sometimes seems like, wow, this is a great team. There's a lot of camaraderie here. But there's like one guy steering the ship. As somebody who exists in a land of somebody that has a superstar, I know what it's like to lose that superstar and the team dynamic change completely. So it's rough out here, Phil. It's very rough.
Yeah, those injuries are definitely harming the Cleveland Cavaliers. Seeing Halliburton hit that game winner in the second game and go up 2-0, it's just like, what is happening right now? This is crazy. Meanwhile, the Boston Celtics got to be one of the most frustrating teams ever to watch. I'm glad I'm not a fan of this team, because I would be irate watching some of these games. Like, they're everything that people want the Golden State Warriors to be when they complain about shooting too many threes. And at certain parts in the second half, when the Knicks were coming back, I'm like, dude, go to the basket, bro.
Right,
what are we doing? Like,
come on. It's not working. That's what I've been frustrated a couple of the playoff games of teams being down and behind and just trying to three, miss a three, go to the next guy, another three. And it's like, dog, you got to try something else at this point, because this is not working. Because the issue is, Phil, when it works, it works. Like when there's like 25 threes in a game at one time or some crazy kind of stat, like it's good. But when it doesn't work, it's so bad.
Yeah. And I mean, the Boston Celtics are a good 3-point shooting team.
Right,
I believe they currently hold the record for the most threes hit in the season. They broke the Warriors record, but when them threes not going in, you know, maybe do something else. Like when the collapse started in game one, I was like, no way. There's no way they're gonna lose this game. And so Brunson turns into Brunson. And if I've learned anything this season, you cannot let the game get close when that guy's on the floor.
No.
Because he's going to find a way to win. And some of those shots he started hitting in game one, I was like, oh no, this is not good. Yeah. You guys.
No, he turns into like a different being when he gets locked in, and playoff him ain't nothing to play with. And the Celtics were playing with him.
They were definitely playing with him. We continue to play with Mikal Bridges as well. Mikal Bridges played really well in those first two games, got 2 defensive plays to end the game 2 times in a row. The New York Knicks are up 2-0 to the defending champions, one of the best teams in basketball right now.
I just didn't think it was going to happen so quickly, Phil. I knew this was a potential to happen because Celtics do this. Like they could either be the best team in the world flat across the board, or like, what are you guys doing out there? And the first 2 games have been, what have you guys been doing out there? It's funny because we had some conversations in Vegas about what this series was going to be, and we had a big laugh. We were like, oh yeah, all right, buddy, good one, good on you, that'll happen. And
Boston just continued to be Boston. I think this is it. I had my moment a few years ago where I was just like, never again will I believe in James Harden. And James Harden turned into exactly who I thought he was this year in the playoffs. I think I've reached that point with Jason Tatum as well. I tried, I really like Jason Tatum's game. I think he's a great player.
When he's on, Phil.
He scores so effortlessly when he wants to. Watching those 2 games, I was just like, this guy, man, the disappearing act that he plays. There was a part of game 1 where they're starting to collapse and the Knicks are starting to come back, and he's getting the ball at the top of the key. Brunson is defending him. I'm just like, dude, you got like 7 inches on this guy. What are you doing? And he would just like dribble and back up and settle for a jumper. I'm like, dog, what's happening right now? And I mean, look, if you're going to settle for a jumper, whatever. But when you're the guy.
This is your team.
And big italics on this, when you're the guy and somebody wants you to get a bucket, it's that. Like, what we're saying about Brunson, when you need a bucket, Brunson's going to get you a bucket.
Yeah, definitely.
Same things with like somebody like Jimmy Butler or Steph Curry. When you need a bucket, those guys have a move. They have a go-to shot. They're going to get you a bucket. This guy doesn't have it, and I keep waiting for it to emerge. I shot him a lot of bail last year because Jaylen Brown just played exceptional in that series, and I was like, well, I know people, want to jump on him, but Jaylen Brown played good enough to carry him.
He did.
We saw a lot of people getting mad at Steve Kerr during the Olympics for not putting this guy in. We might owe him some apologies. I personally don't owe him an apology, but the people that were mad at him might owe him an apology because this guy might not be it, man.
I just kept laughing when it was happening in the Olympics. I was like, hey, that's funny because like I knew, like, well, there's sharks and killers out there already. Like he's not like nothing against the brother. He's not a shark or a killer,
The funny thing about it is he'll tell you all the time he's a Kobe guy. He's a student of Kobe. Kobe, in the moment, he had that killer instinct. He was the guy. When you needed him to get a basket, I've watched that guy silence many away courts. I've been in a house booing this guy, and he forced me to sit down and go, damn, this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't do anything when he gets into that mode. And there are a few players that do that. Tatum ain't one of them guys.
He's not the guy.
One really great player.
Yes.
I really like the guy's game, but nah, we've seen too many guys get in there. Again, tried to shoot him some bail when Wiggins got in there and D'd him up in that Warriors series. I was like, hey, listen, man, Wiggins had a good series. I've seen too many players do that to him now. Get him out of his mode. And if you're the guy, if you're the number one guy on a team, you shouldn't be letting Mikal Bridges and certain people say this. I saw people talking about, why are we just jumping over Tatum and saying, this is Anthony Edwards' league? This is why.
Yeah.
This is why.
It's that dog. It's that I need to take my team to victory, and he doesn't. Them 2 games shouldn't have not went down like that. Like he should have took control of his team and took them to victory. And this is what they pay you the big bucks for. See, this is what separates the guys, Phil. We were just talking about the injuries and Donovan Mitchell and Curry and how like those guys put the teams on their back, and when it's time to go, they go. And they're gone because of injuries. And this guy's still here injury-free, and it's just gone just because.
Yeah, they lose this series. Unfortunately, the Tatum slander is going to be very bad. And I feel bad.
Me too.
But it's going to be bad. If they lose this series
good kid.
with everything coming into this, just their record and just like, again, defending champs and people predicting that they were heading back to the finals. It's not looking good though. And it's so funny because my dad called me laughing because he, first of all, overjoyed still that the Lakers are out of the playoffs.
Yes.
But he was saying, man, I think that the Denver Nuggets can move all the way on to the Western Conference Finals. And I said, against OKC, Dad. And he said, well, he was like, hold on. He was just like, just hear me out. And so when I watched the first game, I was like, this guy is right again. He told me Minnesota was going to beat the Lakers. And I was like, nah, I don't know, Dad. Watching this game, I'm like, damn, he's right again. And so watching last night, it's a 2-1 series.
Yeah.
Jokic turns into this guy again. You don't have to question who the guy is on that team. It's Joker. He's that guy.
Him the ball. He ain't not about to be messing around or nothing. Like he's about to get him some points if the ball's in his hand. Yeah, the first round Nuggets, Phil, I was like, wait, who are these guys? I didn't really know what was going on for a couple of those games. They weren't really the Nuggets that I've been seeing this year, but these last 2 games, brothers, Jokic's like, oh yeah, let me get back onto this.
Maybe Mike Malone was part of the problem. I don't know. But some of those clips where you see Jokic coaching over there in the huddle and they come out fired up, he comes out and puts up insane numbers, 42, 22, and 6. Like, bro. Wow. And the crazy thing about this as well, coming into the series, not only have I been saying OKC is probably going to go all the way to the finals, I've been saying all year, nah, this is SGA's year. Mm-hmm. He's MVP. Watching that first game, I was like, I might have been wrong. Might as well give this guy MVP again, because jeez,
those numbers, Phil, they're like they feel fake. Like, oh no, somebody made like a meme, and these are real numbers that this guy puts up effortlessly. Like you're saying, bro, coaching the team while doing it. Like I don't
leading.
Like this is crazy.
Leading the team, showing a lot of poise. Some of the fouls and stuff on him in that game 1, and he just like kept playing his game. That three he hit to get the game down to 1, I was like, yo, no way. And then I am continue on to apologize to Brody tour. He came down and I've seen him make some baffling choices, miss some wide open layups. So when he had that ball at the end of game 1, he's on a fast break. I was like, what you going to do with this, Brody? Makes a phenomenal play. Aaron Gordon in the corner. It's wide open 3. I was like,
Westbrook. That's what they always question, why he's there, Phil. And these are the reasons why. Like, he's not going to put up the most numbers. He's not going to be the superstar of your team, but he's going to work the hardest. He's going to put up hella assists. He's going to be beating fools up. Like, he's going to be an important player on your team.
I don't know if this is a bold take. Joker is the best teammate Westbrook has ever played with. I think Joker has gotten the best out of him at times because, and not to say that, LeBron isn't a leader or KD isn't a good player as well. Joker's different, bro. He's different, man. What, man? Great game so far. Some of these games, the comebacks have been fantastic to watch. Like, I thought some of these games were over, but bro, these series have been very fun to watch. Unpredictable games. That makes it even better. Warriors, I believe it's tie series now after Steph had to leave the game with a hamstring strain. I think the fact that he was running back and forth up that hallway is a good sign. That tells me it's not a tear, it's just a strain. So maybe, the Warriors can hold on for a week and he'll be back. Like, best case scenario, if this is like a 2-2 series or a 2-1 series when he gets back, Warriors still have a very good chance. But we'll see. I was holding my breath at one point when Ant came down on that ankle. I was like, oh no, please don't be hurt. But yeah,
I think the issue with Steph is like the longer he's out, that's the more momentum that the Wolves are gaining. Like with every game, they're like, oh yeah, we're getting hungrier. Ant is playing he has been playing like a dog. Like he's everywhere on the court. He's fighting people, but then he's playing exceptional basketball on the other end. It's like, this is crazy. The game that I watched where he hadn't hit a jump shot for like 90% of the game, but because he was just driving and like playing old school basketball. And I was very excited about it. Not trying to hit a three every time. I'm like, dog, sometimes you just got to get in there because this side of the game isn't working. I'm nervous. There was one point when Steph went out and Draymond tried to take over the team. And like the way that he takes over the team, Phil, is just so clunky and aggressive. And that's not the thing. And then Jim got in and like took over, and I was like, yeah, this is how you should run the team, because Draymond is just all over the place. What
not the way.
I'm like, somebody please get this. Somebody figure this out.
Not the way. Draymond being Draymond, doing Draymond shenanigans again, and then getting upset and saying, I'm tired of this agenda of trying to make me this angry man. I'm like, Draymond, we've seen you, dog.
It's all on camera.
Dog, we've got years of tape of you, dog. Like hold on. We've seen you
from nothing. They're not just pulling out this guy. This guy's problem. He's random. No, you say it. No. And then you go on your pod afterwards and talk about it.
Dog, you punched the guy in the face in practice. That's not on your team no more.
Yeah.
Hold on.
We've watched him stomp people on the chest like a pride fight. Like, dog, I don't like the footage is all there, dog. Like, I hear you, what you're trying to do, but you're not the guy that this is about,
Yeah. Yeah. Great week of basketball. Yeah. Fun games to watch. Exciting. Playoff basketball, man. Sometimes it's just nothing better, man. I think, football is football, but playoff basketball, man. Because playoff basketball will always expose people, man.
Yeah. The teams that we thought were going to happen are not happening. And there's so much of it. That's the thing, too. Like, it's like a game's today, a game's going to be tomorrow. Like, everybody's just playing and everybody's having to be on top because superstars are playing like superstars and some superstars are not playing like superstars. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah. I promise we'll get into some wrestling.
What is wrestling?
Hey, man, listen. Most of the week, that's what I've been doing, turning back and forth between basketball. Yeah. Yo, those jerseys are hard, Jose. I did see those. They're like Sox versions with like the red and black Bulls. Joint is hard. I seen them.
I'm trying to get you one of those.
Yeah.
I'm tired of y'all. Are you going to wrestling next week?
But no, I'm not going off.
You're not. No, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, where is it? That determines if my friend's gonna be there.
If it was in the city, I probably would go, and I might end up going last minute, but I don't think I'm going.
It's a trek.
It's a trek all the way to Hoffman. I don't feel like making a trek all the way out there.
They're loading it up though. They're trying to get you out there.
Yeah, they're trying to. Dynamite and Collision filmed the same night. This could be a long one as well.
Oh
You
yeah,
gotta make that commute all the way back into the city afterwards. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Stipulations are being set upon this.
Yeah. In my week of, man, I knew this guy was good, but I might have had him fucked up a little bit. I was listening to Vince Staples' last album, and I jumped into a shuffle of Vince records. I'm like, listen, man, we might not give this guy the flowers he deserves. This guy's catalog is crazy.
Yeah, I think he has quietly established an insane resume of music. I think just because he's not even really outspoken. He just talks, and the way that he is on interviews and things gets so publicized and on this other thing that you forget that he's an exceptional rapper and musician and makes some crazy out of the box music that you wouldn't even expect him to make sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's got the ones like off his first big EP was like, I'm probably finna go to hell anyway. Fire. But Blue Suede, one of his best records ever. And then his first big album, 06 Summertime, great album. But like, bro, like the Big Fish Theory. Like before we got on, I was listening to Yeah Right, and I was like, yo,
yeah,
this guy don't get enough flowers. He don't.
He does not. That's sometimes that song particularly is funny because a lot of people in LA get lost in Kendrick Shuffle, like no matter what kind of part of the genre they exist in. Like if they don't even make the same type of music as Kendrick, like it's just like LA rap is Kendrick Lamar to a lot of people, and they don't understand what's in. Like Tyler should be even on a bigger level, but he's in Kendrick Lamar land, and like it's not even his fault. It's not even Vince's fault. It's not even these guys' fault. It's just like Kendrick also exists here, and he kind of runs the land.
No, like the trifecta, the holy trinity of West Coast rap at this point is Kendrick, Tyler the Creator, Vince Staples. Yeah, Vince's catalog is crazy. Like it's like he's got so many big records that I'm just like, dang, that is a record. Like, and it'll be like some like hidden gem stuff that I forgot. Like, I'm like, nah, dog. He's like, bro, Jump Off the Roof, bro. Like, Summertime 06 is probably my favorite Vince album, but like, bro, Jump Off the Roof, and then Senorita right afterwards. I'm like, yo, this guy, man, he got to get his credit, bro.
I remember listening to that album before going into Sprint in the parking lot, thinking, I fucked this job. And so just something about that time, that record, what was going on. I had just moved to San Jose, and it was interesting time. It's funny how these records are connected to times and things and spaces. And now when you hear those things, you go back to those times. That's one of those records. Vince is going to continue to, I think, just be who he is and do what he does. I think people are going to, after that album, kind of continue to try to put him on this certain kind of level of like a gangster rapper, because that's all kind of people associate him with, but he's like way more than that.
Yeah, he's made so much different kind of music. Like his music,
he's a gangster that raps. That's like it,
his music outside of like those first two albums is so vastly different. Like FM is such a different album than those two albums, or the Big Fish Theory is so different. And then like the current album, like his last album, also very different from those albums.
Yeah, that's what is exciting about some rappers, on how they can totally switch their thing up and make completely different albums. Kid Cudi falls into that thing. Tyler, like we just talked about, falls into like, some of them make completely rap albums with like producers that we know, and then they go into a different field. And I love it as an artist that, enjoys things like that.
Yeah. Send us your super chats. That is the best way to get your chat read on the air. Also, if you are so inclined, send us a Humper Chat where we get a bigger piece of the cut. And that's humperchats.com/Fightful.
Yeah, we always appreciate you guys supporting us any way you do. even just showing up here, talking in the chat. Y'all are the best. Y'all are the greatest. Super chats help us. Humper chats help us. Being here live helps us. Listening to the podcast on different formats, just audio, the YouTube numbers, all that stuff help us. So we continue to appreciate y'all. We'll get into a couple of these and we'll move forward. Chi-Town Spurs says Chicago has a pope now. Ketchup 9M hot dogs is now a sin. Green Bay is officially a hellscape, and communion wafers will be replaced with pizza puffs.
Yeah, man. Don't put no mustard on the hot dog, dog. I'm sorry. Don't put no ketchup on a hot dog, dog. Oh, come on now. I like ketchup on hot dogs. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, what's the beef, dog? Why everybody so aggressive about it out there in certain places? I'm like, why y'all determining
sacrilege to certain people, man?
What is the deal? And I'm upset that when I went to Chicago, I didn't get to get pizza puffs. I think about it every day, and I'm like, damn, dog, I really missed out.
You think about it every night and day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, appreciate you, Chi-Town Spurs. And then Grapple Geekery says Reg sick note for Denise Collision watch along was from Dr. William Phillips. Jokes aside, the AEW ladies are kicking ass in ring and innuendo wise.
Yeah. Tony Storm continues to be a sicko.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimately one of the best characters in all of pro wrestling at this point. One of the best talkers, not just women, just one of the best talkers, period, at this point.
Yeah, she is on such a different level that they just keep putting her on every single show. She's locked in exactly where she was previous time as champion, where she's on every show, either wrestling or doing a promo. Like, she's going to be a presence anytime AEW is on a show just because she's so locked in. It's amazing. That's all of our super chats for now. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. We got some humper chats. We got one from Van Twinblade. He says, new Chicago Pope jokes. The Pope must not like the Cards because he seems to be a really big fan of the Cardinals. I don't care how powerful the Pope is. No amount of divine intervention can make the Cubs, Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks not suck. Listen, man. Don't let one of them teams be good this year. Don't let it happen, dog. I feel you. I hear everything you're saying, dog, but don't let one of them teams be good this year, man.
I kind of want it to happen just for the laughs. You know what I mean? Like, if out of nowhere one of these teams just starts dominating, that would be so good.
Yeah, don't let it happen, man.
Mm-hmm.
From Tony P, he says, this has been an odd NBA and wrestling week to say the least. Some superpowers get neutralized in Boston with them heading into Madison Square Garden. Just the other thing, like, you're down 2 games heading into the Garden. Now,
oh my God,
the Knicks have been a bad home team this year, so this could end up working out. But if you're the Knicks, best case scenario for you, you win 1 game at home. This series is over.
Yeah.
You go back to Boston up 3-1, this series over.
Definitely. So New Yorkers are going to need to bring that energy. That's the funniest thing I've ever said in my life on this podcast. They're definitely going to bring that energy. We're just going to see if the Knicks are able to put it together while they're, but it's like laid out on a platform, essentially, what we're saying here. Like, you guys could finish this.
Chuck and the guys on Inside the NBA were saying this next game is a must win for the Knicks, which on paper sounds crazy. You're up 2 games. Saying it's a must win sounds crazy. But I think that they're right, because if you go back to Boston, tie series, anything can happen at that point.
Yeah.
You don't want to risk going back to Boston, tie series. Boston could end up winning at home. That changes everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they get back to Boston and it's tied, it's not good for them. They got to try to use this momentum that they have to move forward. It's the only way. It really is a super important next game to the series.
Yeah. Tony P says, Cavs remember who they were, like Simba. SJ smiling after that loss scares me. Golden State done in 6 without Steph. I think Steph will be back within a week.
Yeah, me too. Hurry up, get to it, work them legs, get to it.
Yeah, that's It's been a wild week of basketball. I didn't think we would be here, but again, I think that I have realized the truth about Jason Tatum at this point. I didn't want it to be the truth, but the more and more I look at this situation, I'm like, yeah.
He got a ring. He'll be able to hold on to that no matter what, you know.
No, I think he's eventually going to be a Hall of Famer and all of those things, but just like he's just one of those guys. Sometimes you're a really good basketball, but you're not a winner. Like James Harden, he's a really good basketball player. Another guy I think is going to be a Hall of Famer, not a winner.
But they're not going to be like Kobe Bryant.
No.
And this guy, you know what I mean? Not in the same class.
No. Paul George, really great basketball player, not a winner. Tracy McGrady, one of the best one-on-one players I've ever seen, not a winner. Damn. Just what it is. Sometimes it's like that, man.
You can still be amazing. It's somebody's favorite basketball player of all time.
Listen, my all-time favorite basketball player outside of Jordan never won a championship. It's stuff that happens.
That's the game.
But you know, some of that was just he was not on good teams. Iverson was my second favorite basketball player. He just wasn't on great teams, and people unfortunately threw a lot of blame on him when it wasn't always his fault.
Changed the game though.
Definitely. From Tony P says all of WWE was missable this week. Expected Julia. I think you mean except Julia versus Grace. The strong style fight was a full course meal of goodness. NXT is going to be lacking when all of those four go up to main roster. AEW has just been fire. I did not see that match. I did see the main event of Raw. Listen, I keep trying to tell you that guy is who I say he is. When y'all are like, Jay doesn't have great matches. He's had 2 main events with this guy, and both of them are fire because this guy, I won't say carries him to great matches, but he's a much better dance partner than some of the other big stars you put him in there against.
I mean, Big Gunt couldn't really get him to nothing that great, and Rollins did, so...
I'm gonna listen to me one day, man. The near falls in that match, just like, and I think that's the only thing I saw out of that episode of Raw was the main event, because I was looking like, no way, they're not gonna put this belt on Rollins, are they? That would be jokes. Now,
I was like, there's a possibility.
I would have been still laughing today if that happened, but no, I thought that was a good match. Zeno, the Roxanne Io Sky match, what I've seen of that match was really good. I didn't see the full match though, but what I've seen of it was really good.
Yeah, all I seen from NXT was that clip of them, the head drop that was in that match, and people were doing what they do with the clip like that all week. So yeah, why can't people be normal? I don't know.
But Io's another one. Hooper. I don't care who you put her in there with at this point. She's on one of those all-time runs. Really has been since last year, but nah, you put some gold on her and you put her in the forefront. You put her in there with somebody that can work moderately good. We're off to the races, buddy.
I wasn't expecting this. Like, there was at one point where I thought she was on her way out, and she flipped all of that into every segment she's involved in is crazy, and the matches have been fire, and she's the MVP of the division. It's crazy. Like, I mean, I'm not surprised because she's an insanely talented wrestler, but I just didn't think she was going to be able to put it on display like she has been.
I got a little worried, man. They had her out there losing to Liv Morgan, and she lost her Elimination Chamber qualifying match. I was like, what are we doing, man? Like, put this belt on Io or put the Intercontinental belt on her. Do something. But I am glad that I was wrong. I'm glad that we have moved forward because I was getting a little worried.
Listen, Phil, sometimes you got to let it play out. It played out, and things have been all right.
Yeah. More from Tony P. He says, I love how much they use Collision as a showcase for people and to push stories along. I'm glad it found a voice again after Punk left. Dynamite had Petty of the Week winner MJF. Side note, my spirit had a feeling he was going after someone black. Yeah.
I didn't even put those things together.
I didn't either, but yeah, I think Collision has definitely found its footing. At one point, it was just like the show for matches, and it would tend to be a bunch of squash matches. But now that you have stories and stuff that's unique to Collision, it's become a much better show.
It's funny how when these people are the anchor of the show, that's when it gets better. When FTR is the anchor of Collision, in some way, shape, or form, the show is at its best. And it's again like that. FTR is kind of like the anchor of what Collision is. They're in the story with Daniel Garcia. Looks like they're about to get into it with Nigel McGuinness. When they're like the anchor and they're having these badass matches, the show flows so much better. And that's what's been happening the last couple of months. Collision has its own identity. It has its own kind of feel and vibe. And I think that's a really important thing too. You have to separate it from even Dynamite, which separates it from everything else. And that's when it's going to be at its best. And I think that's what it is now.
Yeah, I think you make a very good point. I think that FTR has been low-key the most consistent wrestlers on Collision since the beginning. I think even during the Punk era, there were weeks where they were carrying that show.
Yes. I don't know what it is about that time slot for them, but when those guys get on that show, they locked in. Some, like when people talk about the greatest Collision matches of all time so far, most of them describe an FTR match just because of what they did. They had a crazy one-on-one this week with Daniel Garcia and Dax. Like when they are leading the way for that brand, things are different. So I don't know what it is. People have talked some trash about how they do their business, but they're killing it to me.
Yeah, they've been great. More from Tony P. He says, don't ask why I felt that. I just knew what was happening. Other than that, he hurt people. One petty a week. Javon could have won it, but he bricked his shot when he talked about the crowd sizes. He tried, though. Other than that exchange with Evan and Rick was stupid and funny as hell. I thought you were going to say that Ricochet was petty of the week because he trolled my guy out of his comfort zone. Yes. We haven't seen Javon tweet like that. We haven't seen him come out of his bag yet like that. Ricochet trolling got him to start shooting.
This Ricochet whole thing is amazing to me. I wrote about it in the last PWI on the transition from, we talked about it multiple times on this podcast, Phil, of like what we thought Ricochet was going to be coming into this AEW run, and he's been destroying it, but he's taken it to like this online thing where I hate get under people's skin, but he like just really gets under these people's skin. Like the bait that he shoots out every time and they take is amazing. I love it. Like some of his tweets make me laugh out loud. Like I'm in my bed like, ha, 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 that's so funny. And for him to get Javon off of that into some real shots was, you know, how funny. What it turned into. I thought it was hilarious, but you know what it turned into, Phil.
Yeah, of course, people take things too seriously, and it's wrestling. People are talking trash and people are tweeting shit. It's fine. There's certain parts of it I don't think he should have said, but I did think it was very funny. I laughed pretty hard at it. I laughed even harder knowing that Ricochet was probably sitting somewhere like, who got him?
Yeah.
Like up. I could just imagine, like, for whatever reason, the beginning of his theme song with like the little auto tune, dun, 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 Ricochet. Like, I could just hear that over the tweets. Like, he's like, nope, got him.
Got him. It did, man. Like, Javon maybe went a step too far. There's some things I probably wouldn't have.
Might have got out of the margin a little bit. Cut it out of the margin.
You know, when you're shooting, you don't really know you know how many shots that are going off. The
safety was off.
Tweet and delete, Phil. We like, how are we not have a conversation about this? Like, it's forever, dog. Like, if it's up for 1 second, it's forever. And people don't understand that. Like, oh, I deleted it. No, you didn't, dude. It's here. I could see it. Like, that makes it worse. Might as well stand on it if it's out there at this point.
Man, we was just talking about Vince, man. Shit should be forever, baby. No, you said you wouldn't, baby.
Because it is. Every time they're like, they deleted, I'm like, did they? I could still see this.
No. Somebody screenshotted it, bro.
Exactly. And then sometimes even on Twitter or it'll say this tweet has been deleted, but you can still see the tweet. So it's like, dog, it's out there. Everybody's like, oh, he's burning bridges. And I'm like,
bro, I need people to stop doing that. We've seen people say some crazy things and they still end up hired or end up brought back somewhere that you thought they wouldn't. Bro, the burning bridges thing is dead when Punk is back over there, bro. He said some of the craziest things you could imagine about that company, and he's back over there like none of that happened.
The people that he talked crazy against, we've seen him in the ring on TV with. Like, it's like there isn't.
Bro, he did Stephanie places, bro. Like, it's over for that. It's over for that, my guy.
He did Stephanie's places. He did not, for real though. He did Stephanie's places, and he talked crazy about her husband, her dad, like everybody. Like he wasn't holding back.
The doctor he talked about that also was a part of the lawsuit is still there, and he's working there. Like none of that happened.
They were in court, dog. Like this was a real thing, and like nope, they're just working together. There ain't no burn, but that doesn't mean anything.
It's wrestling, bro.
Some
People
tweets.
just talking, bro. It's fine. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, there are people in wrestling that are petty, but
there are some people, don't forget. But for the most part, it's fine.
This is a money business, bro. The funny thing about this is the same people that want to get into the business side and talking about ticket sales and rating stuff. You think there's a such thing as burning bridges, bro? If there's money to be made with this guy, I don't give a fuck about no tweets. What are y'all talking about?
If it's in 5 years and this guy's hot and they're like, oh yeah, some things are happening, you can get him, you're gonna be like, oh, this guy's hot. Not, oh, he was tweeting 5 years ago about some bullshit.
Don't nobody care, bro.
Who cares about that? It's fine,
bro. If I feel like there's money to be made here, I don't care about no tweets, dog.
I don't care about no podcast. I don't care about no interviews. I don't care about nothing if money's to be made, dog. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, look, take them tweets down. That's cool. Come on, come right in. Oh, they're already down. Come on in.
Tweets. Exactly. Come on. Did you need some water? Like, doesn't mean as much as people try to make it mean. Like sometimes they are people that get too deep in the weeds and they're going crazy, and there's some things you can't come back from. But for the most part, we've seen people do the most egregious things in the world, and then they're like hosting WrestleMania. It doesn't matter. None of these things matter.
No.
Again, they did a DVD, Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. This is the worst guy of all time. This guy was talking crazy. They put him in the Hall of Fame. Like, none of this matters, man. Nobody cares about anything.
Fam, it's wrestling. The amount of people we seen do flips, and I ain't talking about 450 splashes. The amount of people we didn't see flips and turn about face and end up back somewhere or some shit. Nah, dog. It's wrestling.
Bret the Hitman Hart's like a 2-time Hall of Famer, and he was like, fuck these people, I'm gonna fight them, they're dead, this company should die, like all these things, and they're like, just come back with arms wide open. Creed, you know what I mean? None of this matters.
It happens. It's fine.
But yeah, also at the end of the day, maybe put your phone down. Like there's a time where it's like, all right, I'm cooking, like, I'm gonna leave it here, I'm done, I'm walking away.
Sometimes stove gets a little hot. It's all right.
It's warm in here, man. Let me turn this down. But you know, Phil, we've been in those situations where like, no, I'm cooking this nigga. I'm going.
Listen, man, I've definitely had a tweet lined up, and I was like, nah, let me erase that.
Let me back up. No, I'm gonna erase it. I'll sit and I'll look at it, and I'll be like, damn, I'm filling all the characters up and everything. Like I could just, but nah.
I seen a tweet a few months ago. It had nothing to do with me. I was like, I don't even like the energy about this. I don't like what's being said here. Nothing. Like I was all ready to start typing. I was like, yeah, no, let me not.
But
I don't be out in these Twitter streets like that no more either.
It's too much.
It's too much, man.
Still just trying to get bits off just doesn't work.
No, man. People don't know how to take jokes no more, bro. I wish people would just laugh at these things like I do, though. Like a lot of this stuff back and forth between companies, like it's not that serious, guys.
Osprey was talking shit this week, wasn't he? Like,
oh,
You're having fun. Come on.
He's just talking, bro. Like, I prefer the wrestling over here. I don't like the wrestling over there, bro. He's one person.
Rollins has said that before. Like, this is a thing, you guys. Come on, man.
It doesn't matter. You know how often wrestlers talk shit and like take shots, bro. We did a whole interview with a guy talking shit the whole fucking 20 minutes.
Not one part of it he wasn't talking shit.
Just, bro, in the middle of his match last night, just started randomly talking shit. Like, what it is, bro.
And we like these guys that do that. That's the funny part. When people get all offended, I'm like, we want this. We want everybody to be beefing, whether it's real or fake. No matter if they're like, fuck that other company. That's good for business, you guys.
It's really not that deep. People that
and these are all a bunch of friends talking shit to each other. Like, it's come on.
People that start turning in this into taking sides and, oh, how dare you? You're burning bridges. Like, you should know better than this. Like, guys, it ain't that deep. Let's calm down.
They need a class at the Performance Center telling these people about social media etiquette. And it's like, all right, you guys.
Oh, it's wrestling. I don't know. But yeah, if you have not checked out our Gabe Ken interview, that is on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Grapsody.
Yes, sir.
What a guy. Just hilarious from start to finish. When I edited the interview, and because when I was first looking at it, it was in our overlay from StreamYard, and I was like, nah. I don't like how this looks, man. Let's get this in the mortise. Let's clean this up. Let's make this look better. And so when I was editing it, I was like, oh, I missed a chance. Why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
I missed a chance to do something really funny when I was listening to it back. And I was like, damn, I didn't think about that.
You going to save it or you want to?
No. You know, sometimes a joke is really funny. And then when you like go and tell it later, it's like, damn, it's probably funnier in the moment.
It don't hit the same. Yeah,
don't hit the same, man. It's like, dang, I should have did that. That would have been.
You got to do it then. You got to do it then. But yeah, definitely check out our interview with Gabe Kidd. I had a great time the entire time because this guy is. That's when I want to do interviews. Like, I just want people to be like in character sometimes. Like, sometimes the fucking where'd you train at and what is like, dude, just like talk some shit about who you're about to fight. That's all I care about.
No, man. I say all the time, man. What we do is in service of the business.
Yes.
And so you come in and do an interview. The whole point of this is promote your shit, promote your matches, promote yourself as a wrestler, as a character. When you just come on and it's just like, hey, man, so how'd you feel about this match you did? And like, hey, where'd you train at? Like, nobody wants to hear that.
It was okay. I trained with Doink the Clown's little brother, Oink the Clown, and
Oink the Clown.
Since they're really the vibes we're giving up, because Gabe gave us a part of that, but it was in his style. You know what I mean? Like, he gave us like some backstory, but he was also like talking shit about his opponents while doing it. I guess that's a skill in itself, but like, more of that.
Absolutely. But yeah, check that out. That's on our YouTube channel. Also check out SRS's interview with the Good Brothers that went up this week as well. Those guys also very, very funny. They got into some really insightful stuff that I didn't expect. Just like them being free to do the wrestling they want and not just corporate wrestling, and getting back into the wrestling they're passionate about doing. It was a great interview.
Yeah, I'm sure people didn't like a lot of what they were saying because they never do.
Of course not. That'll be fine.
Not how they feel. You're not supposed to feel like that.
How dare you say you weren't happy? How dare you? But they're a prime example of what I mean. Like, when they left the first time, the way they were talking about WWE, it's like, oh, these guys, and then they ended up back over there. Like, bro, if the check is worth it, the check is worth it. But hey, man, got over there, got that check. Now we're off doing what we want to do again. Like, it's cool.
Like, we're not about to be friends back here, dog. Are you going to make me some money? Go out to the plate. We're not going to be hanging out together. We don't need to associate. Like, this is business. It's all business.
Yeah, bro. I think at the end of the day is get your bag, dog. I feel you. Like, I know people are going to say some shit, but get your bag. My only thing when it turns to talking shit sometimes is don't fuck yourself out of a bag.
That's it.
That's all.
Mm-hmm. That's the most important.
Yeah. More Humper chats. We got another one from Tony P. He says, now, I didn't see the Best of Super Juniors last night. I will later because Backlash is going to be some ass. I did see Resurgence, and boy, that show has ass production, even though it was fun. Azumi winning was a surprise move, but Mercedes had the belt for nearly a year. It was time. Yeah, we got a lot of New Japan stuff from this week to get into. We didn't. Well, we talked about night one of Dontaku. Yeah. We'll get into some of the night two stuff because there were some big things that happened on night two. Surprisingly, get this card in front of me.
Yeah, the lighting at Resurgence, I didn't go to the show, but the lighting at the show wasn't that great. Like, soon as I turned it on, I was all, this looks weird, but you get what you can get sometimes.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, Dontaku night 2. We got the Bullet Club War Dogs taking on Baden Bura and Mentai Kid to start the show. And we got like some other tag matches. Master Wato, Yoshihashi took on United Empire. But I feel like the show really picked up when we got the Stardom exhibition match where we got Maika, Hazuki, and Kagoma taking on Mizumori and Starlight Kid and Zumi. That's when I thought that the show got much better because that match was a lot of fun. It's only 9 minutes, quick sprint of those 6 women putting on a show. New Japan should do more exhibition matches like this because the Stardom women always try to put on a show in the spot. They always look hungry. I thought that this was fantastic. This was what really kicked off the show. We saw some more of that on Resurgence. I thought the women stole the show.
It feels like they have a different kind of energy. Like they know. It still feels like we know we're not supposed to be on this New Japan show almost, so we better do what we can with what we're given. And every time it's 1,000 miles per hour. If there's 9 minutes, if there's 13 minutes, it's going to be the best shit you see that night. And that's what it feels like every time they're given an opportunity.
Yes. And I mean, we've talked to more than one woman from Stardom. Mina and Tekla talked about wrestling on that stage and how some women aspire to wrestle for New Japan and wrestle on the cerulean mat. And so you can see it. You can see just how much they turn it up for those matches. We got El Phantasmo, Bolden Oleg taking on the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita, and Rocky Romero. I'm not sure how I feel about Rocky Romero being added to Takeshita's side when he does the New Japan shows, because some of the appeal of him going to New Japan and just wrestling sometimes without Don was just straightforward wrestling. We didn't have the heel manager stuff. It was just him going out there and hooping. And I was enjoying that. So now when you add Rocky, I'm like, I don't know that we needed that, man. I think it was fine how it was.
Yeah, no, I totally hear what you're saying. It feels like they're adding a little bit more of the bits, and they're grabbing legs, and they're adding like the heel elements that weren't really needed for Takeshita on this side.
Right. But this tag match was a lot of fun because it's Bolton Oleg throwing people around, LP doing what he does best. When he gets in the ring with Konosuke Takeshita, which we'll talk about it again in a minute, those guys put on a show. And there was some of that here, but this was really the Bolton show. Bolton throwing Rocky Romero around was really what made this so much fun. They picked up the win to set up the match last night on Resurgence. We got the 10-man match, TMDK taking on Hantai, which basically what it was. One of those big multi-man matches to move certain storylines forward. Nothing really to write home about. The big multi-man match worth talking about from this show was effectively LIJ's last match together. Naito's farewell to New Japan. Emotional, man. They ran that video package beforehand, and it ran down all of those moments of Naito's career, from him being the Stardust Kid and all the rest of this stuff, and just like Stardust Genius, sorry. And yeah, I just still not ready to process him not being a part of New Japan. When he came out, that pop for him was ridiculous. The match itself was fine. It was fun, but afterwards, guys doing their fist bump in the middle of the ring, I was just like, I'm not ready. Not ready for him to leave.
It doesn't make sense. It still doesn't compute as like thought that this forever for the rest of his career was just going to be a New Japan guy, New Japan star, and everything this week and seeing him out there with the guys is just doesn't really make sense. The transition that New Japan continues to kind of make, it feels like every 6 months for like the last 2 or 3 years, there's been like a huge staple of the company like gone, and it's just kind of crazy.
Yes. Yeah, right afterwards, Naito walked away. He started to do the roll call, which we got a more official roll call later. But still, when this was happening, even like Bushi no longer being there, just all was like very surreal. I was not prepared for it. But we got Yota Tsuji taking on Yuya Uemura next for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. This match was a lot of fun for what it was. What these two wrestlers represent for the company moving forward. You talk about transitioning, moving forward. These two guys have a bright future ahead of them. Tsuji is a guy I think that is ready. He's ready to be a main eventer for this company. Yuya Uemura is going to be there as well. You can see all of the glimpses of what he could be. I think that this match was kind of missing a gear as I was expecting to get up to, but it was still a very good match for what it was. The biggest talking point from this, though, was all the aftermath stuff, because right afterwards, all the LIJ guys came out. They did the official roll call, did the pose with everybody together, which will probably be the last time we see all of them together.
Damn.
And then when they got out of the ring, War Ready, Gabe Kidd hit the ring because he has unfinished business with Tsuji. He challenged for the IWGP Global Championship earlier this year, lost via double countout. And so he was just like, nope, I still want my rematch. I'm not done with you. You did not beat me. And so that will be the match set up for New Japan Dominion in June, coming back for that white belt. As he told us in our interview, he also told us that he's coming for Goto's belt eventually as well. He would like to be a double champion.
Yeah, the energy that he was talking going into these next New Japan shows was like he has a purpose. He wants to win all the championships. He wants to be the guy around there. So Tsuji has something to go. But Tsuji, like you're saying, he's so ready to be the main event. He's so ready to be the top guy of this company that it's crazy. Every match that he has, it's crazy improvement. And he's ready to be the main event, and I'm excited about it. They needed a guy like this, a couple guys like this to really step up. We're losing Naito, we lost Okada, we lost Ospreay, like we're losing a bunch of the top main event guys. So we need the next generation to get to it, and he's getting to it.
Yeah. Tsuji also pointed out that this is probably it. Like this is the end of LIJ. I've seen some people say that, somebody else could step up as leader and they could continue to go, but so much of their identity is built around Naito. I don't see them continuing without him because it's not like Bullet Club where you've had revolving leaders and you've shown a history that you can keep this thing going. I just don't see LIJ the same way. You could attempt it. I just don't feel like LIJ without Naito, though.
It's different. Yeah, it's not like the other groups that you could just switch it out, do a different kind of thing. Like that group is synonymous with Naito. Like you need him for the identity of that. I mean, they could try as a tribute type thing, but I think that even is going to make it worse, maybe.
Yeah. So very curious to see what comes of those four guys. What are they going to do now? What is Hiromu going to do? I don't know. Maybe one of them starts their own unit. I don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. It kind of feels like there's ready-made void for somebody else to start a unit like Shota, because Shota's a Hantai guy, but also he's not really a baby face anymore. He's like he's on the fence at this point. And so that's kind of what made LIJ is that Naito came back as a heel, and then they just became these like likable anti-heroes. And so I think that there's a void for that kind of group again.
So there is a space to be filled if somebody can fill it.
Yeah. I just don't think it'll be called LIJ. It'll just be something else.
What do you think happens with Naito beyond New Japan?
Well, he's talking about going and having surgery on his eye again. And then I think he's got another surgery. I think he's got a knee surgery or something else. So it sounds like he's just getting healthy for now. But I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't see him being. I honestly think he's going to eventually come back to New Japan. Maybe that's just me wishful thinking. I do think he's going to retire as a New Japan wrestler.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's what it was, Twan. Naito's getting stem cell surgery on his knee.
Okay. Getting that Rey Mysterio Jr. Might be right back to it after that. You never know.
Yes. But the night ended with Hiroki Goto taking on young Callum Newman for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. This was a star-making moment for Callum. I thought he was fantastic. He looked great, just like the big spots he hit here, some of these feats of athleticism he hit. I know it'd be very easy to say that he goes out there and he does a lot of Osprey moves. He does his version of the ice cutter, and he does like the flippy stuff. But I thought he was great. Goto continues to be a fantastic champion, but this was really about showcasing Callum Newman and showing people that this guy has a bright future.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was interesting him getting this title match, but I think it's like kind of just continuing that trend of seeing who does what being put into these situations. And that's what it felt like here. Goto's still on this crazy train where the crowd is just so behind him. The pops are still insane. They still are very into this title reign. I just didn't think he was going to be helping guys on the way up like it's been happening. Like I knew it was going to be like a good reign, like a good let's celebrate Goto, but like it's hitting into an even different level, particularly with matches like this.
Yeah, I mean they've been doing that all year, really since the Dome, putting people in these sink or swim moments. And I think that whether you agree with the decision to keep putting Shota in these spots, you have to see what you have in him. And so that's why I don't have a big problem with it, because if you're going to tell us that Shota's a Three Musketeer and he's eventually going to be the guy, you're transitioning now. You got to see what you have.
Yeah.
And I get it from Callum's standpoint as well. And there are so many other young guys that you can now put in that spot. You don't have anything to lose.
Like it could be a home run. It could be nothing. You could be seeing where this person is at the time. And there's nothing wrong with having more contenders for your world title.
Yeah. There was a really great moment here where Callum hit Goto with a Rainmaker. If people know, the last person to get hit with a Rainmaker by Okada as a full-time New Japan wrestler, it was Callum Newman. So I thought that was a cool moment. Also, just some of the other spots here that he hit, he was great. I was really surprised how great he looked. I shouldn't have been that surprised because he looked great in the G1. He's been great in the tag team matches they've been giving him. Yeah, they've got something in Callum.
And he is a child of Osprey, like you said. So, I mean, know what kind of vibes that guy brings.
Yeah. Fun match. Goto did retain. Afterwards, Zack Sabre Jr. came out to set up the main event, co-main event for Resurgence last night. And afterwards, Shingo Takagi called next on whoever wins that match at Dominion.
Yes, excited about that. Excited about Shingo.
Yes.
Anytime he's in the mix.
Yes. Which we can slide right into Resurgence talk. New Japan Resurgence took place in Ontario, California last night. Both of us talked about going. Neither of us ended up going.
Didn't happen. Yeah. Them days just like all blended together. Everything just started happening so fast. And then when I found out it was on a Friday, that's really what kind of threw me off, because I was going to drive and Friday traffic was not going to happen. I thought it was today actually, and I was still going to go, but Friday traffic just wasn't in the cards.
Ended up being a solid show. I can see Tony's point about the production. They still have to figure out certain things on the US side to make these shows look better, because that's such a big part of New Japan's appeal is the production value from their shows. Like Ospreay said something about AEW and hating the horror cam and wanting to adopt more of the way that they film their matches, and I agree with him, because I think that that's part of what makes New Japan unique.
Yeah, I mean, the big part of it, that's what separates them as a wrestling company. And I think a big part of why American wrestling suffers at times, because they're so hard camera focused. It's so like you got to hit your mark focused, and that kind of takes out some of the heart of pro wrestling. I think they use like camera people from whatever place that they're in. Like it's just a different production thing in general when New Japan's in America. And they need to figure it out, because like you said, a big appeal of what New Japan is in the production.
But I mean, and it's twofold, because the New Japan Strong shows I've gone to in America, I love just how much smaller they feel in comparison to the big New Japan shows in Japan, and just like the indie feel to it, just like how how the crowd is lit, the arenas they work. I enjoy that part about it. But again, I know it's a niche thing. I can't speak for everybody.
Like seeing a New Japan ring in whatever venue always hits every time with the turnbuckle pads and how it looks. Like that's always a home run to me.
Yes. But started tonight with the surprise. B. Priestley has been talking about free agency getting up to this point. She's effectively a free agent as of Thursday night. She made a surprise appearance on the pre-show for this show, took on Viva Van in an open challenge. I thought that this was a nice surprise, considering the fact that when she started with WWE, there wasn't really anything like this on the New Japan Strong show. She was doing Stardom, but there wasn't an outlet like this for women on the New Japan shows. And she would have fit in perfectly with the time when she was doing the United Empire stuff with Ospreay. This would have been a no-brainer for her back then. So I was glad to see her in the spot now that she's a free agent.
Yeah, we're getting to a very interesting time here, Phil, with I think a couple of these recent releases with like Cedric is almost about to be released, and Trevor Lee recently. Of the landscape of pro wrestling has changed a lot in the last couple of years. Like you said, New Japan now has New Japan Strong, essentially their own American indie. The AEW is continuing to function how they do, and with that and how pro wrestling is moving at the time, it feels like people can do different things than they were originally set out to do. Like I figured when she went to WWE, I was like, that's an interesting choice, because I think that she has so much to do on the outside. And she had been cooking Stardom, and I had been seeing her in all these different places. And then when she went over there and nothing really materialized, I was like, yeah, because I think your destiny is in elsewhere. And so seeing her immediately back here in New Japan wasn't a surprise to me, because I figured this was kind of going to path moving forward.
There's some people that, of course, I always want to wish well when they end up over there. But I just have an idea of what their style of wrestling is, and just like what they're looking for. And she's one of those wrestlers that I don't think ever necessarily fit that style of wrestling. It's so homogenized, and like when you have like even like the alternative style looking women or the goth style women, like a Shotzi, like I think that they can get behind the look of Shotzi, but they don't really understand the appeal of how she works in the ring. And I think that was part of the issue with her over there. And that's kind of why I didn't think Shotzi was going to work. And B's kind of the same way, based on the way she worked in Japan, based on what she was known for in some of the US stuff. I didn't really buy that it was going to work. And then as soon as she went over there, you had to change her name. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know. But I'm glad that she's back out doing wrestling like this, because these two women were hitting each other very hard. And I was like, this is it. This is what she excels at. She comes from that style of wrestling from Stardom. And so I think she's going to do well with New Japan. And I think if the COVID stuff didn't happen and like the visa stuff didn't happen, she probably would have still been with AEW.
That's true. Yeah, because it seemed like she was getting locked into AEW stuff very early in that run, in her run, and she was on a trajectory to do something. But, you know, plans change. She's back. We're officially into this now, and I think she's going to do some amazing things post her WWE run.
Yeah. Very curious to see if she ends up back with AEW. I think with the crop of women they've got there, more Stardom women coming in. You've got Mina coming in. You got the tease of Tekla from this week. We still don't know on Mariah May. And there's so many wrestlers there now that I think that she would work well with.
Yeah, this is honestly maybe a better time than when she was there previously with the talent they have now.
Oh, definitely. I don't think that and it's not that I think that B is like this phenomenal wrestler that nobody could keep up with her, but I just think the crop of talent they had over there at that time, they didn't necessarily work as well as it would now.
Like, shout out to Brandy, but like she's not gonna be locking up with Brandy.
Bro. Yeah, and also a great point. This is another sign that they should start the tag division. You've got B now, you've got Jamie Hayter over there. Her, if you know, they were tag team champions during their time in Stardom. They make a lot of sense team together now.
A lot of people have been pitching AEW women's tag team belts, and I'm always like, yeah, they don't have the teams to really fill it out, but that changes a lot. Them two leading that division would be a big hit.
Yes. So yeah, that was a fun way to start. Before the main card started, we started with Fred Rosser versus Matt Vandegrift. This was fine for what it was. Then we got United Empire, TJP, Templario taking on the World Class Wrecking Crew. Kudos to World Class Wrecking Crew, because they got a California crowd to boo them. And, you know, before they were very West Coast, they were getting great reactions on these shows in Ontario and Long Beach. And so to see the difference now with them as heels getting booed, I was like, man, gotta give them all the credit for that.
I love those guys. They changed from being the West Coast Wrecking Crew, which is a big way to become heels over here in California. I just love anytime that crowds could be turned like that, just like an old school type of way. And they brought just like an old school style, and their matches I think they have like an old school type of style too. This was a surprising one, kind of considering what TJP's been on recently, so but also not surprising, you know.
I did not expect United Empire to win this, especially because Templario's fairly new to this group. This was really the first time doing this pairing, and then having it in a championship match. I didn't expect them to win. And then World Class Wrecking Crew has been on a great run on these shows, so I didn't expect them to lose, but I'll take it. It was a nice surprise.
They lost. TJP is now champion. I mean, they're a good team, like you said, beyond all the craziness that kind of surrounds this guy sometimes. TJP is an exceptional wrestler, and Templario is amazing when it comes to the lucha shit. So I like it. It was just kind of a surprise with how the homies Roy and Jorel have been doing this last year totally, and to end it like that is interesting. Especially with how the other tag team championships ended with Jeff Cobb and them, and then they go right into this. It's just interesting things.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, but man, it was a nice surprise. We got the Bullet Club Civil War stuff. The War Dogs teamed with Gato, taking on the Young Bucks, and the newly freed Good Brothers. Young Bucks, man. Young Bucks in these big multi-man matches. That has been the highlight of the past month or so.
Yes.
They've been incredible in these matches on TV. And this is another example of just how much they excel at this kind of wrestling. It's almost like seeing two guys that are pretty good rappers rubbing their hands together when you see one of these big posse tracks show up and they're like, yep, I'm going to get in there and get my shits off. And every time they come in and it looks like they're having so much fun in these matches. This was very enjoyable.
Just seeing them back in New Japan, whatever iteration it is always amazing because they have a certain kind of energy. They're almost like working like a babyface style too, which is fun to see because it's such a different contrast to what they've been doing on AEW TV recently. And it felt like an old school Young Bucks match. And it's like,
it did.
The vibes, baby. I just loved it. It just felt so good. It felt like this is what we're supposed to be in. What they've been doing on AEW TV and then coupled with this, I'm like, you guys have been listening. Thank you. And just, taking the feedback and doing what you always have done best and just have great Young Bucks matches. Seeing the Good Brothers back there is amazing. They have like fun energy too when they're back in New Japan. It feels like they feel the most comfortable and charismatic as they could be. It's unfortunate that people go over there and lose all of that. I don't know what roles go into that type of thing, but seeing them back here was great. Gabe Kidd not giving a fuck about none of that and just talking shit to everybody was amazing. Seeing Gato still wrestle is just, it makes me laugh the whole time because he's like, does like this dastardly heel thing all the time. And it's so fucking funny.
Gato, if you guys play Marvel Rivals and solo tanking in Marvel Rivals is not fun because when you're isolated and everybody on the team is coming from you, it sucks. At the end of this match, it felt like Gato was trying to solo tank and everybody was hitting him with their finishers and he was just out of here. I was like, dang, well, that's it for that.
Yeah, and it had to be him.
Yeah, but no, you're absolutely right about like the Good Brothers and they just look so much more comfortable here. Machine Gun being able to come out and doing his entrance his way, doing the big machine gun taunt, and I died laughing after he did it, and he hopped up on the turnbuckles and had his arms stretched. I was like, this guy, hilarious, bro. Just where they are in their lives, and Carl's talking more about how he has been sober, he's been in the best shape of his life. He's feeling great. And so for them to have this new gimmick where it's just like they're saved, they're wearing all white now, they're coming out doing the prayer hands and very funny.
So good. So good. I mean, them to try to flip, they kind of flipped their things, their styles, their gimmicks a couple times. They've been back to WWE when I didn't think they ever would after some of the things that they said, and kind of to be able to spin it to whatever this is feels pretty refreshing for them.
Very funny guys. They do very little things that are very funny, like doing the SRS interview this week and they're both sitting there with the matching white V-necks. It's just so funny to me, man. Just so effortlessly funny. Yeah, when they were coming out and doing their entrance, and like I said, they're like doing the prayer hands and like it's really funny stuff. Still, Carl still has one of the best spine busters there is.
Yeah.
Still looks great. Their offense together still looks great. They still work very well with the Young Bucks. You can tell just how long those guys work together in Japan and just how seamless this is because they've done it so many times. I'm now on the agenda of not just bring the tassels back. Every time they do Japan shows now, when they did the Dome and they came out to the old Bucks theme, I was like, yo, now we're back. This is nostalgia vibes. Listen, I get it. The whole Succession piano joint y'all are doing, that's for some people. Nah, dog. Bring back the New Japan theme. Bring back the vibes. Because when they came out to that and they were doing like the flex at the top of the ring, you're right. This felt like an old Bullet Club Young Bucks match. And I think that's why I loved it so much. I'm like, man, just do this.
Just go all in, man. Go all in with it. I understand the EVP thing. I understand what y'all are doing, but like, just go fully into this and do it, because that's really the only way to really get back into the vibes. Where do you stand on? Because I've seen some people on both sides of the fence on the Good Brothers in AEW and what they would represent there.
I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would do there. Because I think they work best if they have like somebody to play off of. Like when they were doing the Impact stuff, and they were doing it with Chris Bay and Ace Austin, and then Kenny Omega would come in. That stuff was good. Them showing up in AEW a few years ago, and they were following Kenny Omega. Fun. This is again where I wish Finn would have left, because them coming to AEW with Finn is different.
It is different.
Like, it's totally different. Them coming in as a trio, I'm all in for that. Or even, I don't know what AJ's contract situation is. Them coming in with AJ, also very different.
Changes things. Changes a lot of things. I'm just thinking for like, because I was thinking this week when the Hurt Syndicate came out to do that promo, and they were like, we're looking for tag teams, like trying to think of all the tag teams that could be lined up with them. I'm like, the Good Brothers do kind of represent that in a good way. But I think beyond that, I'm like, where else would they kind of fit in? Because they kind of feel the same role that the Hurt Syndicate would fill,
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do. It kind of feels like they're open to just doing more indie stuff and doing more New Japan stuff. They got an appearance set from Maple Leaf Pro coming up as well. That makes sense because they did TNA when my man, why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Scott D'Amore.
Scott D'Amore was in charge over there. So that makes sense. I think they're going to do more stuff like that. I think they could work in AEW, but I think the presentation needs to be right. I don't think you just bring them in as a tag team. I think they always kind of work best as a part of a collective.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know, but fun match. I enjoyed this, of course. Bucks and the Good Brothers picked up the win here. A lot of fun moments in this. Starting the match with them attempting to start doing the too sweet in the middle, and the War Dogs beat them down before they could do it, and then they kept trying to do it in the middle of the match, and War Dogs kept interrupting it. Gabe Kidd hopping on the mic, like I said, talking trash to them. Very, very funny. Continuing to tell this joke of, I'm the bald white guy and New Japan now. We don't need you. Get out of here. Love that. I love the Bucks hitting him with all these super kicks. They try to hit him with a super kick party. He just hulks up and then hits them with double clothesline out of it. And then you have like him going back and forth with Gallows. All of that stuff was really, really great. Even just how it ended, and it felt very Bullet Club. That's what I loved so much about it. Like the ending of them attempting to do the big too sweet in the middle of the ring, and the War Dogs were just like, nah. I love that.
Yeah, them spending the whole match trying to be like the Bucks and the Good Brothers, like, we're down, dude. We're old school Bullet Club. Like, give it up. And the new iteration being like, nah, we're not into that. Like, because their whole bit, and we talked with Gabe about it, was like, we're the ones. Like, it's us. Yeah. It's not about what happened in the past. We don't care about that shit now. Like, this is the way to go for Bullet Club. And so for them to kind of feed into that with this match and everything that happened, I thought was really good. Gabe stood out with in a land of big stars, and that just goes on to how good of a wrestler he is.
Bro, when we talk about how Bullet Club makes people in the stars, this is prime example of it. Gabe has come off so much better from being a part of the War Dogs.
Yeah, and they like you said in the interview, they said the Bullet Club was washed, man.
He was talking crazy. I didn't really think about this until he was getting his shots off at Chase Owens, but this iteration of Bullet Club is one of the few that has mostly new members. This isn't like somebody else took over as leader. Like all of the War Dogs, like Drilla, Clark, and Gabe, and everybody that Dave brought in, they're all new guys. Outside of Gato, it's all mostly new members.
They changed the whole landscape of what the Bullet Club was.
I think it's worked. I think it's worked for the best for them.
To the party white boys. That's the difference. Like a lot of the old iteration weren't getting down and partying every night. These guys are outside.
Well, I think it also just works best because it feels like what Bullet Club initially was. It was a bunch of, foreign, straightforward guys doing like the white guy jock humor in a land full of Japanese wrestlers.
Right. It feels the most like that it's felt in a while for the Bullet Club.
Yeah, and in the best way possible. Big fan of Clark Connor. I continue to think that people don't really appreciate Clark like they should. I think his spear looks great. I think he has a great look, great theme music. I really like Clark, man.
And his theme is hard though.
Tomohiro Ishii defended the strong openweight championship against Big Driller Maloney. This is basically what it was advertised as. These guys hitting each other with forearms and strikes and big moves. Some of the counters and transitions in this were a lot of fun. Really, man, I've continued to be impressed with Driller. The more they put him in this setting as a singles wrestler, I think he's got a bright future. This didn't feel like the time to put the belt on him, but eventually I think they're going to put a belt on him.
Yeah, this felt another thing like we were talking about earlier with this next generation and the new guys coming in of confidence. You could feel Driller's confidence coming into the match. Like he knew that he was in a big moment, and I thought that he excelled in a lot of this. Being in striking exchanges with Ishii is very difficult because usually you're getting destroyed, but I thought he really came with some fire in this. Like you said, the counters are really great. He looked confident. He looked charismatic. He looked awesome. He looked like he was ready for this moment. And like, yeah, gold is in his future very soon. Ishii being on this kind of super fun run that he continues to be on, though, like just kind of fighting anybody that's in his way, whether it be a legend, whether it be some young person, whether it's in some American indie, where it's on AEW, no matter what, he's just bringing the fight. I think is really awesome.
Yeah, and I love that New Japan Strong has its own continuity at this point. You have guys that have been fixtures on the New Japan Strong shows, eventually working their ways up to championships. Like that's what worked with Fred Rosser at one point, and Ishii has been a fixture on these shows as well. So it's good to see him get up to this spot where he's the main champion of the brand.
So cool.
Yeah,
that he's the champion of the American New Japan brand. Just makes sense because American wrestling fans fucking love Ishii and have for a long time.
And Driller's, man, the more and more I watch this guy, I'm like, yeah, very impressed with him. Big Driller Gorilla. He's going to be eventually a champion. Not yet, but eventually.
He has that same kind of Gabe Kid energy. Like they bring the same fucking vibe. When he came out last night, I was like, these guys are so funny, man.
That is one of the funniest bits of the Kenny Omega match when Gabe is in there and you can see Driller from the corner. He's talking shit the whole time. It's so funny.
Definitely, it makes sense that they run together.
Yes, they just work so well. And then, like I said, Clark with them as well. All of them are like arrogant little shits. They're so funny together. And then you put Tekla with them. So funny together, man.
Good crew.
Yeah. Nah, man, they had Bullet Club fucked up. They thought it was over. They thought it was over for my guys, man. And I was like, nah, they got a fraud leading them, but I like all of these guys. But now it's just like, damn, I had Dave fucked up too. Like, they might be all right.
Hey, Dave knew what he was doing. At first, people were like, hey, what is this? But nah, you played the long game.
Nah, this was definitely one of those. I didn't know what Gato was doing, but I was wrong. I'm sorry, Gato. I was wrong.
Look at that.
Konosuke Takeshita took on El Phantasmo for the Never Openweight Championship. This is the continuation of their feud, starting with, of course, they had that great match for Maple Leaf Pro last year. Then they had the World Television title match recently, which was a banger. This match was a lot of fun. That stretched towards the end of the match where they both were kicking out at one and having those big fighting spirit moments. Such a fun match. LP is just one of those wrestlers, man, where you would think a lot of the high spot stuff he does wouldn't hit because there's so many wrestlers that do like the flippy stuff and like the springboard stuff. But that splash he does where he like stands on the middle rope on one foot and then he somehow hops back in. It looks crazy every time he does it. That double jump he tried to do and then he just got clobbered with that forearm. I was like, yo, these two just worked so well together.
I think that's what it is about LP is like he doesn't look like he would do a lot of the flippy stuff, just like with his body type and his look. But then he starts busting out like, oh yeah, and it looks so much cooler because of his frame and how he moves. He does a lot of springboards and different things, and he has a lot of edge influence like we know and he's talked about, but like he like adds his own twist to a lot of things, and I think it's super dope. Him and Takeshita have great chemistry. I mean, you can say that with a million wrestlers with Takeshita at this point. Takeshita in New Japan energy is getting better and better as the matches progressed on. The crowd continues to get behind him, but he's moving like you said, he's going to be IWGP World Champion like in the future, just because the energy that he's bringing to this show and every show that he's been on in New Japan is way different. Like he's fighting like he's the number one guy here. He's bringing the crazy strikes, the charisma. He'd like just something different about this guy in this time.
You can see the motion. It's what I keep describing with Ospreay, where Ospreay feels like the special attraction match on all the pay-per-views. His match feels so different compared to the rest of the card. It's the same way with Takeshita over there. He just feels special compared to everything else. And man, they got something in this matchup. Every time these two guys wrestle, it's so much fun. LP, I initially wanted him to lead Bullet Club because he just has this vibe to him. But him as a babyface is so fun. He comes out with the light up glasses and his fur coat that has the lights in it. He works better as a babyface, and that's why I understand the move, because it was time. He was very popular. His move set fits a babyface. I know he did things like the loaded boot stuff he was doing and the back rakes. All of that stuff was very heelish and very funny, but he was destined to be a babyface. He's just too likable.
Yeah, there was moments where it felt like that was almost the natural progression where he was going to become the leader of the Bullet Club. And thinking about that, he was such a good, shitty little heel, though. That's why it was happening. But yeah, he's such a great babyface, and coming off of the story and what he went through, like it felt like this was an inevitable thing. And the way that he works this babyface, I think, is needed right now in New Japan and in this division. Him putting up a fight, then they had a couple table spots. I think he's good in this spot, but Takeshita's on a fucking collision course with everybody, and it's going to be hard to beat him.
Yeah. Again, I don't know that I needed Rocky in this. I love the near fall where he pulled the ref out because it really felt like LP could win, but I was just like, we don't need this. And he ended up getting put through a table, which was great, but I don't know that we need this consistently moving forward. It didn't ruin the match for me, but I was just sitting there like, I don't know that we need this.
It was working. Takeshita in New Japan was working great without this shit. So why? That's pretty much what it lands on.
Yeah. But yeah, really enjoyed this match. This ended up being one of my favorite matches from the show, to no surprise, because these two guys bring it when they're in the ring together. I was very shocked when they kept saying co-main event.
Me too.
Because I thought that meant that the world title was going to go on last. They were just doing the co-main event stuff to give, Mercedes her spot at the end of the show. No, Mercedes legitimately main evented this show, and the world title went on before that. I was like, oh, okay. But
you even just saying that right now is crazy. The IWGP World Championship was in the co-main event, the match before the main event, like the big belt.
I was very surprised
still.
But that just continues to show you what New Japan sees in Mercedes. They see her star power, and they have from the very beginning. The way they brought her in, the way she debuted at Wrestle Kingdom, her co-main eventing with Okada at one point. Yeah, you could just see it. But Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre, I thought was a good match. I think I prefer their match in Japan more. I think that match was a little
Mm-hmm.
bit better. The stakes felt like they were higher. I like the way that Zach worked that match better. This match was good. I think that this match felt more predictable, and I think that kind of hurt it a little.
The Japanese fans and stuff that added to the Japanese match too changed a lot. Like this one had good energy and like the crowd was into it and both guys were fighting, but that one you just couldn't replicate what they did over there. Super fun. Zack Sabre was Zack Sabre, just attacking Goto on the ground, trying to fight his limbs and take him out. But Goto, again, like I was saying, still has that energy of like, I'm the world champion. This is all mine now. And it's going to take a fucking village to beat me out here.
Yeah, I think you're right. The atmosphere for Goto's championship match as challenger was a lot different from this crowd. And I thought that added a lot to that match. And it just didn't feel the same. This still was a good match, but you could tell this wasn't it. Like they're not done with this matchup, and this didn't feel like the time to take the belt off of Goto.
It's not.
But
it did. I did like how in the finish they're like Zack Sabre still is in contention though. Like he's gonna probably get this championship back again at some point.
Yeah, they very much protected Zach in it. I don't know how I feel about the double pinfall finish. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. The crowd was definitely not a fan because they were booing it, but the match itself, like I said, I enjoyed it. It was a solid match. I like that they're probably going to go back to this. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I believe they're going to put the belt back on Zach or if they know that this is a big match and they're saving this for another big pay-per-view down the line.
Yeah, it could be anything because I feel like Zach is in contention like he could be, but then Goto's still on this great run. So,
because I mean, when you look at all of his defenses so far, he's had, Callum Newman, Shota, he's had Tanahashi, Nagata. Like these are a lot of like the unexpected matches. They don't have a ton of big matches left for him,
right?
Because again, they're in this transition phase, and you're trying to develop stars. Zach is one of the established guys you have left. So it kind of feels like they know that they can go back to that at any time and they don't want to burn it out yet.
Because you can't have Goto beat everybody.
Yes. Yeah. That's kind of how it feels to me. So I'm not so sure that it means that Zach's going to eventually beat him. I, of course, would love to see Zach with the belt again, but it kind of feels like they want to keep that one in their pocket for later.
Right. I mean, protecting Zach makes a lot of sense because
for sure
have those established guys that are going to be able to be in these big main events and potentially win the belt. So he's one of them that you would protect.
For sure. But main event, I thought, was match of the night. Mercedes defending her New Japan Strong Women's Championship against Mina Shirakawa and Azumi. This, of course, is following the Windy City Riot #1 contendership match where that ended up in a double count at, which set up the triple threat. I think we both kind of figured what the outcome was going to be as soon as they announced it was going to be a triple threat match. But I really liked the way they worked this match. I liked that there were spots of it where Mina and Mercedes were so focused on each other that they were not paying attention to Azumi, and Azumi kept catching them by surprise. It's very similar to the way that the women's triple threat from WrestleMania was worked. And that, it kind of felt like they have this tension and history together. So they're so focused on each other. And EO was like, no, this is my time. And so I love that bit about it. I love the camera work in it because you could see stuff that was happening in the background where certain things were happening. Like there's a spot where Azumi hits the ropes and you can see Mercedes come in and try and grab her legs, and she's moving so fast that she missed her. And so when she comes back to the ropes, Mercedes waiting this time and pulls her out. Or there's a spot where they're jockeying for position and trying to get a pin, and you can see Mina in the background getting set up to come off the ropes. And as soon as she comes off the ropes, Azumi was ready for it. She was waiting for her.
Yeah, there was a lot of moments like that I thought were really smartly worked. This is very different than the last time we saw Mercedes in a triple threat match, I thought was too. There was moments where things were happening so fast. And like you said, Mina and Mercedes were locked into something like a figure four or something, and then Azumi would come in with the double stomp or some super fast way that'll catch both of them off guard. And I thought that's what a lot of the match was about, them being caught off guard. Mercedes working as soon as it started and she did the look over the top of them, because she's usually the short person in the match, I thought was so funny. I'm like, oh, she gets to be the big tall person in the match. That's great. Mina being the crowd, she has the crowd behind her, but she was working a really fun style of like, you guys, it was kind of a you guys got Mina fucked up style of like, you think I'm like this funny thing. I like all the bits and stuff that we do, but like, I want to win this championship and I want to beat both of these women's ass. I thought a lot of the kicks that she was throwing in this were great. A lot of the suplexes that she was doing in this were exceptional. She played a great role, but the Azumi kind of Leo Russia basis style of like she's all over the ring and they can't catch her, and when they do catch her, she has some kind of crazy counter for her, was really great.
Yeah. All three of these women coming out during their entrances, and Azumi underdog of this match, of course, but she has such a fan base because again, you set up a wrestler that has been working the New Japan Strong shows for all this time. She's challenged for this specific belt, I believe 3 or 4 times already. So you already have certain people behind her because they want her to get her moment. And then you already have the stuff set up between Mina and Mercedes from their Wrestle Dynasty match. And, you know, Mina's already over as well. But to your point, I love that she continues to come out. And this is something she started during the Stardom run of people thinking she's this eye candy wrestler. She comes out and does like the dancing. But she still will come out and give you the mat-based wrestling. She targeted Mercedes' knee a lot like she did in the Wrestle Dynasty match. And I thought that that worked very well here. But again, because it wasn't a one-on-one match, I think that Mina was so sure that, oh, I'm going to get my revenge this time. I'm going to beat you, that she kept her eye off of Azumi at some points.
Most of the match, Mina was focused on trying to beat Mercedes of like, you beat me before and you keep saying how you beat me, but I'm coming to prove that I could beat you. But she continuously forgot about Azumi, who would capitalize in every moment. There was a point where it was deep into the match and like Mercedes and Mina were locked into one of those like strike exchanges, and Azumi was on the top rope and she still was moving like it was the beginning of the match. And at that point I was like, oh, she's going to win this. Like she was just so like locked in and she was so still like her health meter was at 100% when the match had been gone on for so long. I was like, this is her match to win. And she ended up the sequence of her and Mina at the end where they kept doing that roll through, roll back, roll through, roll back. I was like, this is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, some of the spots where they were trying to either get out of the moneymaker or set up their finishers, I thought that looked great. It made the moneymaker look like such a dangerous finisher, and I don't think that any match so far has gotten across how dangerous that finisher is, that once she hits that, that's the end of the match. And I even liked Mina setting up like her version of it because we haven't seen that yet. I thought that looked great. But man, Mercedes, when
of all time, you guys,
when I continue to say every time she works these New Japan Strong shows, she feels like a bigger star. And I know people are gonna go, oh, you know, she's in there with a smaller crowd, and I want to see her in there with big crowds. When a company sees you as a star and they present you as a star, it makes such a big difference. The way she's treated with New Japan, it's so different. She comes out, she feels like a big baby face. The way Homegirl was screaming for her the entire match, you would have thought Beyonce was out there, bro.
Honestly,
it was unreal.
The camera shot over to her and she just like could not handle it. She's like, oh my God, I'm in the same presence as Mercedes. I was like, oh yeah, this is why, you guys.
Crazy, screaming throughout her entire entrance. She was trying to compose herself and do the CEO chant, and she's just like, no, CEO.
No, I knew it, Phil. Funny, as soon as the first time I went to the New Japan show in California with Mercedes, and I saw the crew there. Oh, it was the San Jose show, and I saw the crew there, and I was like, oh, this is different. Like this is something that New Japan hasn't experienced in like a female wrestler with a fan base that's totally different, that's gonna come with her, and they're gonna represent at every show. And it's been like that every time she comes to New Japan Strong. Somebody from the crew is there, and they are there to cheer for their person.
Bro, one of the greatest ever. Just a legend. Like the post WWE run, I think has just cemented her in so many ways. Like, I mean, just this title run. I mean, getting this title run over 300 days as champion. This was a belt that was essentially made for her. You got almost a year-long run with this belt, multiple main events, Tokyo Dome match. Like I said, co-main eventing with Okada, like just all of that. They don't put women in that spot, bro. Like
she main evented over the big belt last night, dog. That's rare. A women's match. This is crazy.
Yeah,
over both the belts. Ishii had the strong title too, and he wasn't in the main event.
They don't present women this way, man. And I think that says a lot about what Mercedes represents. And I know even Dynamite, Jamie Hayter kept saying, oh, her star power, bro. You could see it here. In this match, her really being like the focal point of like, no, we got to get you out of here. You're the problem. And both of these women trying to get revenge effectively on her. Asumi's still trying to get revenge after their other triple threat match. I believe that was Sakura Genesis, where they had the big high speed match with Hazuki. And this just like them both being hyper focused on what it means to beat you, because all eyes are on you. So if I beat you, I'm the one. I love that about that, because again, that continues to put over just how big of a star she is. And I thought that this was the right call. Initially, when they announced the triple threat, I was like, okay, this is how Mina finally gets the win. Like,
me too.
But now that I look at it, I think that would have cheapened it, because you set up this big rivalry between them. I don't want to see her win the belt by not pinning Mercedes. And I think Mercedes is smart enough as a heel to know I've got to give you the actual rub of beating me.
Yeah, with the way that Mina was working that match, it makes way more sense for it to be a one-on-one victory, her really get the spotlight on her. I thought this was a great way to get the belt off Azumi. I mean, to get the belt off of Mercedes, she doesn't have to take a pin necessarily. She loses the belt. Still a huge moment for Azumi in this moment with these two other, big women stars. Like, I thought this was match of the night, like you said. Beyond everything that we say about Mercedes and everything that she wins, that she goes through, and people talking about her, when the bell fucking rings, there's not a lot of women wrestlers that are better than her. She is insane.
It clicked somewhere around August where she just don't have bad matches no more, man. Like she's out of here, man.
What had happened in August that? Why would it? What had? But it had happened after there was this match, and then I don't know. After that match, though, Phil, it just I don't remember what match it was though. I need a refresher.
It was really after the All Out match, because I don't dislike the match at All Out against Shida, but I think after that match, it felt like there were a lot of questions about her, and then she started having the TV matches and the pay-per-view matches with Statlander, and it just was different.
Oh yeah, the Statlander. After the Stat matches, it was like, oh yeah, she's on a different kind of level right now. And every match has been up. But yeah, seeing her in these long form build a match, New Japan styles, is so great too. Like she's different style than the TV. We got to kind of rush through it type styles. Like, her being able to develop what the match is, let everything kind of rest, shows how versatile of a wrestler she is. She's my favorite women's wrestler of all time, we all know, and she just continues to show it. Mercedes.
Yeah, really loved this match. Really loved the finish of it. Like you said, all of those pinning exchanges to get into the Azumi sushi, where she picked up the win. And I think that this works so well because Azumi has been chasing that big singles title win for a while now. Not just here, but man, she hasn't been champion, I believe, since 2022. That was when she was high speed champion. She had that legendary run with that belt, but she hasn't been able to win a big singles belt since then. And so this very much felt earned. I loved her promo at the end of saying, I am very happy. I wanted my revenge against Mercedes. I'm very happy that I got this win over Mina as well. I thought that was a great way to end the show, because you did give the women the main event and it felt earned because this is Mercedes and, like we said, star power and all of this. But giving Azumi that spot, and it didn't feel like, okay, Azumi won. All right, let's cut to black. No, they actually let her have the promo and let her soak in the win, because again, you've been building to this moment all this time of her being a staple on New Japan Strong.
And it hit really hard when she got the victory. The crowd knew that it was a big moment. She knew it was a big moment. Her being able to do the promo and take it all in, I think was a really great ending for the night. And again, these women main evented over the big belt, and for them to be able to get the moment, have the great match, and knock it out of the park, I think it's continuously great for women's wrestling in New Japan. Every time they're given the opportunity, they knock it out of the park. That just keeps showing them that they need more opportunities.
Yeah. All the Queen Quest girlies holding belts now. Azumi, Saya Kamatani. Love that for them. But having B. Priestley debut here. B. Priestley used to be in Queen's Quest. And her relationship with Azumi, at one point, she kept talking about it after the show and how now she wants that match with Azumi as champion. That makes a lot of sense, getting to that title defense eventually. And I wouldn't be surprised if B. Priestley eventually holds that belt. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but
no,
she's a perfect wrestler, I feel, to work the New Japan Strong shows here and hold that belt.
She's definitely going to hold it within the next year, I'd say. Probably not the one to beat Azumi, but she's going to be in contention this whole time.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing about this. If you're taking Mercedes out of the picture here, because there's also kind of told me that the next big Mina Mercedes match isn't going to happen here or on a New Japan show. It's going to happen in AEW.
Yeah, definitely. For the way that they set everything up and they kind of left it open-ended, I figured they're going to move it on to AEW.
Yeah, and I saw people say that this basically makes it clear, now that she dropped one of her belts, that she's going to win the Owen and probably win the world title. Maybe, but I think that there's enough here to make her look vulnerable, because she didn't get pinned here, but there's enough here to make you think she could lose. Yeah. I don't think she's going to, of course. I think she's going to win the Owen. But there's enough here to make you second guess that.
Yeah, no, I just think they told so much of the, like with the Azumi and Mina stuff in New Japan Strong. It was so connected to that I didn't really think of the AEW side of things. But I could see why people are thinking that.
Yeah,
I don't think she's like definitely winning the Owen and gonna beat Tony, but
maybe she'll beat Tony. I'm not so certain on that one. I do think she's gonna win the Owen. I don't know if I believe she's gonna beat Tony yet, but I do think that Mercedes versus Mina is a world title program in the making.
Definitely. 1000%.
Yeah, really good show. I think the bits of it that weren't as good, I think the main event and some of the big stuff like LP versus Konosuke made up for them.
It did. Yeah, it was kind of a top-heavy show.
Yeah, for sure.
In a good way.
I mean, I think that a lot of times New Japan shows end up being pretty top-heavy. Like a lot of undercard stuff feels like undercard stuff.
Mm-hmm. Which I can respect, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I stayed up like a sicko and watched the best of Super Juniors.
I can't believe you. I can believe you, but I also can't believe you.
Yeah. So I was up. Yeah, I mean, all of this is basically what you expected. Like we said before, very top heavy. The undercard matches were fine.
Who stood out from the first night for you?
Funny enough, the person that stood out from night one wasn't in the singles matches. He was in one of the big multi-man matches. He was in the big 6-man match, and I'm talking about Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight was in the second match of the night, I believe. He was in the big 6-man match, and he was fun in that match, but he was also on commentary throughout the night. I thought he was great on commentary.
Really?
Surprisingly, he reminded me of Carl Weathers when he's on commentary throughout the Rocky match with Clubber, because his voice sounds similar. He has a similar swag to him. I was surprised how much I enjoyed him on commentary.
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I didn't know that he was going to be on it for the first night. I know that they kind of mix things up with how the schedule is, and they'll have wrestlers on commentary and things with how this tournament moves. So I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, but yeah, the tag matches to start the show were fun. We got like I said, the big 6-man match with Master Wato, Taguchi, and Kevin Knight taking on Mao, Tiger Mask, and Kato. That was fun. We got Ninja Mac and Morishima taking on Robbie X and Ishimori. That was the first match of the night, I believe. That was enjoyable as well. And we got Nick Wayne taking on Sho, and Nick Wayne's big debut in the Best of Super Juniors. Tremendous debut for him. I thought he looked every bit as good as you would expect him to. When people are like, this guy's the future, you could see in this match. He was so good. Sho, of course, did all of the House of Torture shenanigan spots, the low blows, the wrenches, and everything. He worked Nick's elbow throughout the match. At one point, he isolated his elbow outside of the ring, slammed it against the post, and then smashed it with a chair. And I don't know if he caught like the end of the chair or something afterwards, but he clipped it. He had this big, nasty looking cut on his elbow afterwards.
Sheesh.
But yeah, this was all leading to Nick working from behind. He ended up hitting the Prodigy Plex to win this thing and win his first big match in Japan in the Best of Super. Yeah, really enjoyable match. I think, like I said, if you're looking for proof that this guy is going to be it, this guy has a bright future, guys.
Yeah, I think being put in a situation like this as so young, carrying that Ring of Honor television champion, this is all going to be great. He's going to be even better at the end of this. Like, he's starting out amazing, but when this is over, it's going to be even better. Excited to see his whole entire run through this.
Yeah, and you can see that he's grown up around wrestling. You can tell that he thinks about wrestling different than most people do, because, like I said, Sho was working his arm throughout the match. So he did a suplex. I think it was like a fisherman suplex he did at one point. And because his arm was hurt, he came around with his other arm and trapped under with his leg. And it was just such an unconventional way of doing it. I was like, yeah, this guy, man. They've got something in this guy. I hope AEW understands that. The fact that he's in this representing ROH as the television champion is a good look as well, because I've been saying for the longest, like, those kind of guys like Nick and Hook and all these younger guys, they should be on ROH, and you should be developing them. You should be using that brand as kind of your feeder system to show what these guys have.
Right. Yeah, you have all these championships. You have this stock in Ring of Honor and what it is a show. You could be developing Nick Wayne and these young guys out of the future of your company into what they were going to be. But I think they're maybe finally starting to figure it out. Having Nick Wayne as the champion, having him here in this tournament are things that they need to do with a lot more of the people in their company.
Yeah. I think it's a good sign.
Yeah.
But what a great week for him, having the Rhino match on Dynamite and then having the debut here, and he looked great. Definitely well-deserved for the young boy. He looked fantastic. After that, we got Dragon Dia taking on Kanemaru. It was the same kind of heelish House of Torture style match with Kanemaru doing all the shenanigans. I was impressed with Dia throughout this. I thought that he looked great, but luckily he picked up a win. Bad night for the House of Torture guys, because Did not want to see those guys pick up another win. Kosei Fujita took on Akira afterwards. This was a good match as well. I enjoyed it for what it was. Fujita picked up the win, picked up 2 points. And we got Hiromu Tanahashi taking on Kushida. If you know these two guys in their history, they have worked several matches. Of course, Kushida, one of the greatest junior heavyweights in the history of New Japan. And at some point, everybody was chasing this guy, including Hiromu. And so now every time you put these guys in a ring, because they've had such a long rivalry and they've had the epic big matches at this point, it's just how do they change it up? And I thought they did enough here to make this match look different. It was a different style of wrestling, and I enjoyed it more than I expected. When I saw it, I was like, okay, we've seen this matchup so many times. What new can they do? And this is just the genius of Kushida at this point, and Hiromu. These guys managed to do something completely unique.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, those guys are tremendous wrestlers and have seen and done it all. Them figuring out a way to do something new. It's not super surprising to me. That's awesome. That's great. I mean, Kushida wanting to go up to heavyweight and still being kind of in this is a whole interesting thing. So I'm excited to see what he does in this whole thing, honestly.
Yeah, like I said, Kevin Knight was on commentary, so I thought it was really funny when he came out. He was like, my guy, and he was putting over how great he is, and like legendary junior heavyweight. And I'm just like, this is coming from Kevin Knight. So funny, man.
Shout out to Kevin Knight.
Then the main event was Despy taking on Teton. I enjoyed this a lot. Despy is another one of them guys where when he's on the card, you know you're going to get something. You know you're going to get a special match because he's just tremendous wrestler. I think this was probably the best match of the night. Very much looking forward to Despy against Nick Wayne. I think that's Wednesday. Very much looking forward to how Nick is going to work a match with Desperado.
Desperado is poised to have a great run in this like he has for the last couple of years. Titan, great luchador. Like to see those guys kind of mix it up in this. Sounds like a pretty good way to kind of start the little tournament and plant the seeds for what this is going to be.
Yeah. What I just described Kushida as at one point, I feel like that's where Desperado is right now, where he's won enough of these tournaments and he's been junior heavyweight champion so many times that a lot of the division is really chasing him.
Right. It kind of runs through him.
Yeah. But it was a good first night. I don't think we've had that match of the tournament quite yet. I mean, it was the first night, so it'd been crazy to expect that. But I was really happy to see Nick Wayne have such a great showcase match on the first night. He looked the part. He came out with the different gear. He had like this dope ring jacket on. I was really happy for him. That was my big takeaway from night one.
That's awesome. Well deserved. He's been working for his entire life at this point to get to this point, and for him to do it so young, amazing for him. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. A lot of New Japan to get. Hope you guys are still with us. We're gonna get into some of AEW Dynamite and preview this pay-per-view tonight, which that's tomorrow. No, I'm sorry.
No, Saturday.
Yeah. It's today. I'm right. It's today. But we're going to preview that in a little bit. But before we do that, I'm going to hit you guys with a word from our sponsors.
BetOnline.ag is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.ag. And it's not just wrestling. It's not just MMA and boxing. It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.ag, that's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
As always, Bet what you can. Bet responsibly. I know you can't wait to go on Bet Online and play for show. Every time that we play that ad and I see that see that slot up there for show, I'm like, who thought of that? But yeah, betonline.ag is the place to go for all your sports betting needs, including playoffs going on right now for NBA. And I'm sure that there's some odds you can get into for tonight's pay-per-view. All found on BetOnline.
Playoffs, yeah, definitely get your bets in, bet responsibly, have a good time, and appreciate it. Let's get into a few super chats and things before we move forward, Phil. The homie Leonard Ernst III says, new rule, if you haven't left Hardcam Academy, you can't get at nobody about crowd attendance when you doing friends and family. Folks out here sounding stupid, too high on that Stanford supply.
I did think that was very funny when he was talking about, oh, you're over here in front of 20,000 people. I'm like, dog, but you wrestle on NXT. Like
I don't.
You're not on the main roster. Like, I feel you if you're doing the big WWE pay-per-views and doing weekly television.
You're on Raw, SmackDown. Talk all the shit you want. I'm with you, dog. Yes, but like,
you know, he had a little too much dip on the ship. But you know, again, I feel you. When you're getting your shit off, the truth don't matter, man. You just getting your shit off.
Caps can be in your raps. That is a thing. They say.
Listen, some of the best rap got Cap in it, dog.
Big cap. So you know, it is what it is. He'll figure it out. Single Blue Note the Panda said AEW Collision 300 is at Ontario, California on July 2nd. Just saw on Facebook ad for it. Guess it's a taping. Yeah, they announced at the Resurgence show last night that 300 Collision was going to be at Ontario, California, I guess a week before All In, and that's official.
Yes.
So that should be fun. Maybe I just said a week before All In, so I probably won't go because I'm going to All In. Appreciate you, Single Blue Note. Mantuable said, you guys think the new Pope is going to have the churches take down the crucifix and put up statues of Jordan?
I've seen a lot of wild, like, people like using like the Aju and stuff from like from an Italian beef to baptize people. I've seen like the big pillow sign behind the Vatican. People are silly, man.
The Aju baptizing is just that's crazy. But yeah, I expect something like that. Appreciate you, man. Blade. Mod Revolve said that Maven sneaks into Collision vid is hilarious. I haven't seen it. Maven snuck into Collision.
I haven't watched it. I've just seen a clip of him talking to Tony Khan, and Tony Khan is like, Maven, I was there to see your like house show match. And it's so funny that he's really what he's advertised as. He's really a big wrestling nerd. Went all of this stuff that it's so funny. I haven't watched it, but I just saw that clip of it. The thumbnail of the video in itself is hilarious because he's like standing there shocked, and there's like this door open with MJF in it for some reason. Like, it's so weird. Like, what is this?
Listen, I love Maven's content. Like, he has a video where Perry Saturn, I guess, was one of the guys that was bullying him during this time in WWE. So he like goes and meets up with Perry Saturn, and he's like, why was you talking all that shit? There's like another video of Just Incredible's like scamming people out of money. So he like goes and confronts Just Incredible. Like, Maven's making some funny ass good content over there using his wrestling place in wrestling history for good and not just being a fucking grifter. So I appreciate it. Shout out to Maven. Corey Stalling says Coach needs to have his head studied for his Bailey take. He wouldn't know a great wrestling if it hit him in the face with it. Shake my fucking head, that bald bitch.
This is what I get for just like a week or so ago saying Maven was right about something, because he was talking about that Rock thing, and I was like, no, he's got a point. And when I swapped this clip, I was like, oh no, he's big capping. I'm not going for no Bailey slander, dog.
What was the reason? Is all I was thinking the whole time that I was listening to this guy. Like, you don't even, when he was like, if she was gone right now, what would change? I'm like, that's how you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, so much would change.
You know what the reason was. This feels like what they started doing when they feel like somebody's getting ready to leave.
Mm-hmm. But the issue is this is their, you did this though. That's every time they get on the fucking defensive. It's like, but this is your fault.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this. 2 years ago, we had to watch people online and on some of these podcasts acting like Ricochet was just another guy. He could just come over here and have good matches. That all you want is just good matches. Enough. Stop the lies, dog. Like at one point when I was like, no, Ricochet is a generational wrestler, and I'm not gonna let you guys try to convince me he's just some guy that does flips. And when I seen Trevor Lee the other day say, man, the influence this guy's had on wrestling, how all of these guys try to work like this guy, and you guys keep trying to convince us he's just another guy. I in some ways feel that way about Bayley. You're not going to convince me, oh, she's not that great. She was one half of one of the greatest women's matches of all time. No.
Inspired a fucking generation. We still hear women's wrestlers on almost a daily, Phil, be like, oh yeah, Bayley and Sasha at Brooklyn is what did it for me. Like, so many people say these two women got me in this business. What Bayley does beyond just being a great wrestler on screen, what she does for the division, what she does for women's wrestling in general, it's, what do you mean what would it be if she just left? She's so important to what this division is, dog.
She's one of the horsewomen for a reason. Like, no, like, bruh, you can't fake influence, dog. I'm sorry.
No,
you're not gonna convince me that she's not one of the most influential WWE women's wrestlers. Not even just WWE, one of the most influential women's wrestlers of the past decade.
Yeah. Like, wrestling is where it is right now in America on TV because of things that she did. So like, what the?
No.
What? And then when he gets to a point where he's like, well, actually, she's never been good. That's when I turned it. I was like, all right, you know what?
Yeah, when he was like, she's always been boring. No.
Yeah,
Again, I'm not listening to no Bayley slander. There were points where, of course, they couldn't figure it out with her, and there was stuff she was doing on TV that I didn't like. But again, Bayley on NXT at one point had the potential to be one of the most marketable baby faces they had. No, we're not doing this, dog.
Okay, Bayley's boring. The one that like during the pandemic was like carrying the shit on her back. That person? The fuck is this guy talking about?
Yeah, that's no.
But yeah, it feels like they might be starting the Bayley might be leaving. So actually, she wasn't as good as we've been saying she was for this whole time. Yeah, right. We're not listening to that shit.
I did think it was funny that Gabby Laspiza was sitting there with this look on her face.
Yeah, she did the whole time.
She was like, I'm not letting you do this.
The whole time. If you just watch her the whole time, she's just shaking her head the entire time, being like,
she was like, no.
Absolutely not. And she's right. Because, like, what the fuck are you talking about, coach?
Bro, this is Bayley, bro. I'm not, dog. You can say what you want about Charlotte, for example. Charlotte's still one of the best women's wrestlers of her generation. All four of those women are in the category they're in for a reason.
You could talk all the shit that you want about what people have been given and what they've done, but they're the four horsewomen for a fucking reason, you guys. And this company's division ran through them for so long for a reason.
Yeah.
And Bayley's a fucking hooper. What the fuck is this guy? Every time I think about it, I get mad.
No, the way that other women from this generation talk about Bayley is enough for me. I'm not. No. No, I've watched how women talk about Bayley, bro. No, I'm not letting you do this.
Slander anybody that it feels like it's bigger. Whatever they're fighting for is bigger than them, and I feel like Bayley has always been like the women's division is bigger than me. Like no matter what, like they're like, we want this for you, Bayley. She's like, no, I want this for us. And like, how could you ever?
We've heard too many stories of that, of her fighting for things for the women. Them tag belts don't exist without her fighting for that. I'm not gonna let you sit here and say that, you know, she's boring and she has an influence. I've watched y'all for the past 10 years try to tell me this is the next Bayley. Stop playing with me, dog. Stop it, dog. Y'all at one point were like, Kylie's the next Bayley. Then y'all were like, Willow's the next Bayley.
Stop, dog. Roxanne's the next. Everybody's the next Bayley.
Come on, dog.
Shit.
Stop.
I love it, man. People are so funny. Ridiculous. Appreciate that, Coy. Minimal says, Reg, did you know you and Kevin Knight were swimming in the same waters? Yes, I did know that.
Wait, what? What is this in reference to?
Because I guess on Hey AEW, Kevin Knight says that he likes older women. That's where this is in reference to. So, yes, we do swim in the same waters. We do like older women's. So,
he's a funny guy, man. Like we gotta interview him again. Very, very funny guy. Some of the things that I witnessed him doing and saying that night where we didn't get any sleep in Vegas and we saw him. He's just hanging out with us, just talking, and he's still in his ring gear. What a guy, man.
Still in his gear, carrying a fourth rope shirt, just like, oh yeah, I bought this because I was standing up. I'm like, this guy's the funniest guy of all time.
So funny, man.
The questions that Kevin Knight has for me specifically are so like when he's like, well, why do you do that? It's so funny. I wish that could be a thing.
So funny, man. What a cool guy, man. And I think again, that's what I liked about him on commentary is it never feels like he's trying to be anything but himself. He feels like what you'd expect from an Atlanta guy that somehow managed to make it to the most prestigious form of wrestling in Japan that there is. And he's just still him. It's so funny.
Still fully Atlanta in that situation. That's the best part about it. Shout out to the homie Kev. Hops88 says, personally, I'd like to see LIJ led by Roosh.
It's not LIJ no more, man. It's just Los It's Los Ingobernables. It's not LIJ no more, man.
It's not the same. It just don't hit the same. It would have to be a different name.
Yeah. But I mean, they've done Los Ingobernables in other places with Roosh and La Sombra in it. I don't know about Roosh going to Japan and leading them, though.
It's not going to hit the same.
You get the Hearns.
Shout out to Hops. Appreciate that. Busby, the respected madman, says, who within WWE can put on a 5-star classic with Will Ospreay and or Kenny Omega?
This was something he also asked on Ask Grapsody, and I don't remember what my answers were.
Rollins, AJ Styles.
Yep, that was my answer. It was AJ Styles.
Now the question is this in the WWE ring?
It's in a WWE ring.
It's a WWE match.
I would say Gunther as well.
Gunther, yep.
Maybe Cody. If you let Cody work like the style of match he worked for that like backlash match with AJ, then you can have a 5-star match.
That's exactly what popped into my brain was the AJ Styles match. So
Finn was on this run on NXT when he was having the Kyle O'Reilly matches that he hasn't matched on the main roster yet. I think you put him in there with Ospreay and you let him actually work. Yeah. Finn, they haven't unlocked singles Gargano on the main roster yet like that, Busby, in a way that I believe. I like a few years ago, I would agree with you, but they haven't really managed to make him work as a singles wrestler on the main roster yet like that.
I think as far as top stars, Rollins is the one.
Rollins is definitely the one, but Redmond is absolutely right. Andrade is right there. He's another one where I just let this guy work, man. He was having the fire matches with Carmelo. I don't know what we're doing, dog. I don't get it.
Andrade, where is he? What happened to him? But there's some people out there.
Yeah,
probably get the list to like 15 if I really thought about it.
Maybe Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is another one.
Oh, come on, Sami Zayn. Both those guys. Both of those are getting 5 stars out of that. Who from the bloodline?
5-star match. Jacob Fatu.
There's that old ace in the hole. Jacob's just going to be the one now. Jacob could do it, and he can.
By the way, shout out to Chime though.
Hell yeah. That just reminded me. I watched a clip before we got on the pod of from Gilbert Arenas podcast with you saw it with Nick and
Yeah, I did.
they was fighting.
Nah, I felt Nick in that moment. Like, ain't no grown man gonna tell me to shut the fuck up.
Straight up.
Who you talking to, dog?
And he kept telling like he kept being like, "No, shut up, though." And it's like, "No, this isn't.
Who you
That's not
talking
what
to?
this is." No.
That's just one of those moments. I think it's up there with as a man. You don't just let a man slap you. Like I don't care if in that moment, like I feel like you gonna beat my ass. You gonna have to beat my ass. Don't talk to me crazy like that.
Yeah, no. You going I'm gonna have to see what the consequences are because you're talking crazy.
Hell no. I felt Nick. And funny enough, I've watched a lot of clips from that show of Nick, and a lot of times I'll be like, yeah, I feel where Nick coming from. Because
yeah, me too.
Nah.
And even in that, like I'm not like you saying, I'm not stopping you from talking, but you're not about to tell me to shut the fuck up, though. I don't care what.
No, especially not on a live stream. Hell no. No.
But that's what's happening. That's what these podcasts are. You get a bunch of real niggas in the room. Like eventually,
you got
barbershops, because that's how barbershops really be too. Niggas really do be about to fight.
No, dog. Nah.
That was funny.
But it was funny because you could tell everybody else was like, "All right, guys, enough."
Yeah,
and
let's
Nick
wrap
was
this up.
serious, like, "Nah, dog."
They kept being like, "This is Gil's Arena. Let's wrap this up." And the way that Nick kept adjusting in his seat, I'm like, "Nah, they're gonna have to move forward." I think.
Yeah, no, you could tell both of them were dead serious. But again, I felt Nick. Don't just tell me to shut up, especially around a bunch of people. Like, nah, dog, don't do that.
You always be on that shit. You need to shut the fuck up. All nah, we not going. That's not what we not about to do.
I felt like Marty McFly in that moment. Like, nah, chicken. Who you calling shit? Who you talking to?
Straight up, like even if I'm about to get dragged, I think we just have to see if that's the result because you're not about to be talking crazy. Nah, that's it. That's all. And appreciate that, Busby. Antonio Morales says, went to the Hog Show last night in Chicago, and holy shit, I can see why a lot of people chose to see an indie show over the Fed. Had a blast.
This is why we need alternatives, man, because you got the big corporate wrestling show that's making all of this money. There's a big audience that loves that stuff, but I need to go somewhere else and see another style of wrestling sometimes, man. That's just how it is. Variety is good.
I just want variety for Antonio and people like that don't know that it's out there. Then they see it and they're like, "Oh shit, that's crazy. That's different." I want WWE to exist. I want AEW to exist. I want TNA to exist. But I also want Honk to exist. I also want GCW to exist. I also want Action Wrestling to exist. I also want West Coast Pro to exist because we need these alternatives for the fans. We need these alternatives for the wrestlers. We need these alternatives for everybody. It's the only way that the business is going to continue forward. They still need to get rid of their commentator over there in Hog, but different stories for different days. And then Leonard Aarons III also says, new rule, SC Rodeo Clowns can speak on living legends. Bailey has done more for women's wrestling than that clown has or ever will in 3 lifetimes. Yeah, it just felt like the coach thing was like men being in women's business almost. Like, just stay out of this, maybe.
It did. That's why I'm like, she's had too much of influence on women's wrestling to try and play with her name like that. I ain't like it.
I hated it. It made me mad. I'm like, what is this? Why would you? This is like a pioneer. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I ain't like it.
I saw our super chats. I appreciate y'all. Weird energy.
Yeah, continue to send your super chats. That is the best way to get your chat read on this show. We've got some humper chats. Again, if you send us your humper chats, we get more of a cut. It's humperchats.com/Fightful. We've got some from Tony P. Okay, I read that one. He says, however, I am curious how much this is going to play into Double or Nothing and All In. How will it affect her character on AEW, the way she wrestles her matches? Will it start feuds with others? Because Thekla wants to shoot at her, and both Mina and Athena want their licks back. I'm assuming you are talking about Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's what it should be. When someone is the main champion or your top star, everybody should be gunning for them because everybody wants their spot.
Exactly. It should be all the women coming in being like, I want that belt or I want that belt. And having women with good records and good streaks holding those belts is a way to bring some prestige to it. But I think it's a great place where we're talking about with B earlier and the different division that AEW has now. Like, it's packed. Like, there's a line to get to the world championship. And I think that's great.
Yeah, that's what I like about what Tony's currently doing during the Owen. It's just like, yeah, all of these women are in this tournament, and meanwhile, I'm like looking over his shoulders, feeling claustrophobic. One of these women are coming for me. I mean, the last time this tournament happened, I got jumped by my best friend. So, yeah.
And they just announced that the homegirl Sky Blue's coming back on Collision. She's coming back next week to Chicago. Shout out to Chicago. It's like division is starting to take off even harder than it's been recently.
Yes. Had some of the talk about Willow this week because her contract is coming up, and I've seen people say, are they really capitalizing on her like they should? And I don't know. I think she's kind of in that same conversation with Hangman for me, where the audience clearly wants more for her.
Yes.
And I don't know that AEW really sees what the fans are currently seeing, and they're not really pushing her accordingly.
Yeah, it's a frustrating one. That's a great comparison to compare her to Hangman, because it's like tomorrow Willow could be the AEW Women's Champion, and the crowd's it's gonna work on all aspects. But I don't think that that's in the company's eyes or in the company's plans. You know what I mean? Like, same thing with Hangman. Hangman could win the belt tomorrow, and like everything's gonna hit hard. But like, I don't know if they think that. And I don't know if that's necessarily issue. Like, I mean, it is an issue because you got two big stars that people want to get behind. But like, the reason that they're not in line is because you got these other great people. So it's a hard space to exist in, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this quote, but this was another one of those, what are you talking about things? There's a quote because they keep trying to justify releasing Dakota. And there's a Observer quote where they're like, they didn't see her. Yeah, they didn't see her as a big name. They didn't see her up there on the level with like the Rheas and Eos and Biancas. And that's kind of why they released her, because they didn't see pushing her to that degree. And I was like, but you just established mid-card championships. Like, you need mid-carders. Like, yeah, even if you don't see her as this big star, you need somebody as an anchor in your mid-card. And even if you're saying, all right, she's there for people to beat and she's just there to lose, that's what their mid-card is for. You have tag belts. You have 2 mid-card titles. Like, what do you mean?
And they need more veterans that could handle all the new people that they're going to be bringing in from these different aspects. And Dakota's one of those people that can hold it down, and you could tell her you got a match and she just goes and do it. Like, the talk around this week was crazy. And like, that's my greatest question. What the point you're bringing up, what are these mid-card divisions going to be?
I don't know. I mean, I think that you're finally in a good spot where you at least have a rivalry for Lyra that feels like it matters, but I don't know what to make of it. Like, they just randomly brought Alexa back last night, and just like, what's going on, guys?
I was like, wait, Alexa's back and she's teaming with Selena, but why? Because Selena just won the belt. I'm okay.
She needs friends because Chelsea has all these friends back there, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
And then they said Dakota was too old, and I was like, all right, I'm turning this off. Turn the TV off.
Dun, dun.
Yeah. I'm tired of y'all.
Stop. Yeah, there's been some talk about women recently that I've been just kind of like, nah, this looks nasty. I think some of the stuff that Becky was saying on Raw Talk, and it was like she was in character, but I was like, nah, she's spitting no. It was too much stuff that she was saying. I was like, no, she's right.
She was definitely in character, but there was like, the character is spitting that real shit, because all the things that she's saying, there are multiple times and topics that with men and women, they're completely different. Like
Yeah.
being a 37-year-old man is way different than being a 37-year-old woman in wrestling.
Right. Yeah, particularly when she was like, get out of the way, it's somebody else's turn. Like you're halting somebody else's momentum. And she's just like, you're not telling Punk and all of these other guys that are like about to be 40 or in their 40s to get out the way. Like a star is a star. Like, what are we doing?
Regardless of age, we want more from Punk. We want more from these guys that are getting up. AJ Styles is getting up there, and I'm still like, put him in the main event. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there were multiple things where I was just like, no, she's spitting. And I think she's another one of those people where she's done a lot for women behind the scenes. And every time people try to put this Becky Hogan thing on her, and I see how other women talk about her, no, I'm not gonna let y'all do that. Nope.
It's exactly the same thing as Bayley. It's like, no, she's way too important for you guys to put these stupid little labels on them.
Yeah, bro. She went away. She did what she was supposed to, what you guys kept asking her to do. She put Liv over and she went away just for you guys to do a year-long storyline where Dom was in the mix. And y'all mad at her for coming back and winning? Y'all mad at the wrong person, dog. Like, I'm sorry. Y'all are mad at the wrong person. Y'all are mad at her when you should be looking at how these women are being booked. It is not on her because she comes back. And to another degree, I don't think it's entirely on Charlotte either. The way people come for Charlotte, like I get the perception of Charlotte, but I also think she's unfairly painted a certain way because of the way that she's being pushed over there.
I think the people just don't understand because they give power to people, but then too much. They're like, oh, this wrestler has creative control, so they can do whatever they want. That's not how this works. Becky nor Charlotte can walk into the rooms and be like, I'm winning the Royal Rumble and then I'm going to win the belt and there's nothing you could do about it. That's not how this works. They're like, hey, Charlotte, can you come back? We want you to be champion. That's pretty much how it happens.
Bro, you guys are upset because of the way certain women are used on the show. And in exchange, you guys are comparing the women to a shitty man that's not just shitty because of his politicking and bad wrestling stuff. This guy's a racist. Like, no, how about we not call any of them Hogan? Like, cut it out. Like, don't do that.
And again, it's never the same. Do you guys realize what Hogan was doing? It's not the same level. Like,
I mean, just straight off, no woman that you're talking about has ever wielded the power that Hulk Hogan had. Ever.
Not even close.
It's not similar at all.
Not even in the same realm, not the same anything. This guy did go into locker rooms and say, I'm winning the fucking belt or this show isn't going on. He said that multiple times.
This guy was the demise of more than one other company at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't, even if you don't want to say it was the outright demise, like TNA didn't go away, but he actively harmed TNA, bro. Like, no, these two things are not the same. And the thing that I've looked at with Charlotte, because I'm sure this looks like, where is all this Charlotte defense coming from? I think it looks crazy that all of this stuff is being said about Charlotte and certain stuff is being done, and she hasn't said a word. Like all of the stuff that came out of the roast and certain stuff that was said about her in like the Tiffany feud and stuff that was said online, she ain't said a word. She just did her job and went away. She ain't said a word.
Yeah, after
I think that's
slandered.
I think that's very telling. And like all of her fans that are like, we still love you, and like they come to her meet and greets, and there's no signs of her like being like mean or rude to her fans or any of this shit. She was just like, guys, I didn't think I was going to be able to keep doing this. I had a catastrophic knee injury that I didn't think I was going to be able to come back for. I was happy to be a part of WrestleMania after having to miss it last year. I'm just happy to be here. You guys are mad, but I just want to do my job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. The relationship that some of these fans try and think that they have with these wrestlers and how they could talk about them and treat them. It's crazy.
It's a little bit too much. And I say this as somebody that's had issues with the way that they push Charlotte. but that isn't always her fault. Like it did. I mean, again, I don't have no proof that she's not back there politicking. She could be, but that
she should be.
I just don't think that people. I think people are unfairly conflating certain things with her
because all your favorite male wrestlers are. That's all I'm saying. Everybody that you like, fucking politicers. Name them. Politic. They're all politicking. They're all doing what she's doing and worse. So what are we saying?
I won't get into she should be, but I will say being mad at her for having a position on a wrestling show or potentially politicking, and then you think that gives you the right to talk about her looks and her relationships and all these other things, like that's too much. It's too much.
Mm-hmm. But you know, people, these are unhinged individuals.
It's wrestling fans. Wrestling fans do the most, man. Like it's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all of this people, the way people talk about the horsewomen, all of them at this point, because you know Mercedes gets crazy amounts of hate. Becky has now reached that point where she gets all of this weird hate from people, and now people are trying to turn a corner on Bayley. It's like, no, these four women are gonna be Hall of Famers one day, and
guaranteed.
Like no, like these four women could easily, if you had done that Fatal 4-Way by now, they could have easily main evented with that Fatal 4-Way.
Oh, definitely. A couple of different years too. It could have worked out.
Yeah.
Crazy that they never did it.
Yes.
Like there should have definitely been a WrestleMania that was 4 horsewomen and Shield triple threat. Like how did they not? Like how did you guys just let that leave? Like you had that moment and they never did it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that as well, Aaron. I won't get into that too much on this podcast, but I did see that people trying to blame her for Cora getting released, and
blame who?
It's nasty. Becky. It's nasty. It's a lot of nasty work out there, man.
What?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we gotta calm down, man. Like I think stan culture has made talk around women's wrestling a bit unbearable at times.
It's sick.
Humber chats. For Rafael Garcia, he says the Knicks are up and Ja Rule is blasting in the streets. There's a new pope. Chicago went up 20 versus the other states. Javon called TK a user of booger sugar.
Yeah.
Yo. To which I disagree with. He has way too much money, and that one is cheap. It's been wild, LOL. I love that your defense of him isn't, I don't think that this guy uses drugs. Just, I don't think he's using this cheap drug.
He has way too much money. I'm like, those are the people that are doing it. But, you know, I hear you, though.
I feel you, Raphael, bro. That's funny. From D-Lo Diggs, sup everyone. Had one hell of a week. Lost my second closest brother to cancer. Treasure life and everyone around you. One thing I don't treasure is that bum Nico Harrison, who still has a job. LOL. One love, everyone. Boy, that dog collar match was donation bloody. Yeah, sorry about your loss. Going from your loss to still trashing Nico Harrison is hilarious.
I love it. I love it, D-Lo. Yeah, sorry about your loss. Sending love out to you and your fam. That's tough times. But you immediately following it up with Nico Harrison slander. Amazing.
Very funny, man. Yeah, my condolences, bro. From Current Veronica is not good. Hola, amigos. I attended Resurgence last night. I was 6 rows center off the floor. Did the mic pick up the female screaming during the Mercedes entrance? Great pop, and I could still hear the screams. The finish shocked the crowd as they yelled no. Yes, this woman was all over the entire stream. I mean, you can hear her screaming through the other matches, like a little bit when Takeshita came out and some of the other matches, but it was mostly, of course, when Mercedes came out.
Yeah, in the main event, you could hear it the entire time. As soon as Mercedes music hit throughout the end of the match, that the homegirl. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah. But again, she's it's so funny that she is a big heel on AEW television, but these New Japan shows, they love her. Like they're not trying to hear any of that. That crowd is cheering for her. They don't care. But yeah, homegirl was super loud. She was basically like the infamous chick that kept yelling Kenny during the match. Kenny.
That was her for Mercedes. Mercedes just needs to have her follow her around for every show at this point.
Kenny.
Tremendous. Happily that the homie current Veronica got to be at that show.
Yes. From Rocky Jets, he says that Grapsody Resurgence was dope. I was right by Shorty that was screaming. A bunch of us got moved to the front for reasons so that may answer the lighting questions, but it was a dope show, closest I've ever been. The ref got a lot of boos in the end. Yeah, I saw that because I saw a clip of the girl that was screaming, and she was like, "That was me. I got moved closer." So yeah, I assume some of this was people being used as seat fillers.
That's good. The New Japan should be doing things like that. I mean, all wrestling companies do things like that.
Yes, I'm sure people are going to do the whole, well, crowds are not selling. All wrestling companies do seat fillers, guys.
Yep.
Even your beloved WWE does seat fillers.
They sure do. You should apply to be a seat filler if you didn't know that was a thing, people out there. Like, you could be a seat filler for WWE.
Yes. But yeah, no, homegirl was having fun. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, it got annoying. It definitely got loud. But I prefer people to be at shows making noise and having fun than sitting on their hands.
It's wrestling, dude. Come out and yell. You paid a ticket. You paid the price. You can do your thing. As long as it's respectful. Some people be yelling some crazy shit. But if you're just excited about the match and cheering on, no, have at it.
Yeah, of course. Don't go out there and be a jerk. But if you're just making noise and you're excited for the wrestlers,
yeah,
bro, we're not going to be here forever. Like, you're not going to get a chance to see your favorite wrestlers all the time. Like, go and have fun.
Do that. Do that.
Yeah, IGGY. Thought you knew that. Do that.
Thought you knew that. Do that.
Oh man,
terrible.
Yeah,
terrible what they done to me. They let some ass do anything. Like, that was just some ass, and they were like, "Go for it, have fun."
Hey, man. That was a record at one point. I heard that record before I actually saw Iggy, and I was like, "Yo, wait a minute, what is this?" And that was that summer. It was played everywhere, and I was like,
crazy. Yeah.
No, she had a record. I won't deny it. Fancy was a record.
Terrible what they done to me,
bro. Again, we're not gonna tell lies now. She had a record. That record was so big. Carmella went and did her version of it. Like, that was a record. Like,
she did. Yeah. Just was a terrible person behind it, you know.
They had the Woodies outside. They had the Woodies outside for the
not mad about that, but you know, I'm just saying, like, the music side, they're like, bring them out. It's hard to yell. You know,
that's what T.I. was saying. Bring them out. It's hard to yell with Bat Row.
Yeah, straight up.
Swizzy,
and he was there. T.I. was like her manager or something, wasn't he? Terrible.
Yeah, T.I. and Dro being back there, like, bring him out is hilarious, bro.
Bring him out. Great record.
Oh yeah, also, bro. That's another guy. That guy got a catalog, bro. When people were trying to say, "Oh, don't put him in the verses," I'm like, hold on now. Let's relax.
Tip got like at minimum 20, like big ones too.
Nah, T.I. had a run now. Let's hold on now. Hold on.
Them records start going off back to back like us at the Flow Rider concert. Them motherfuckers gonna have a lot of them. Like a lot of them.
Nah, dog. Yeah, don't. We're not gonna lie now. Like, look, if you just don't like people, I feel you. But we're not gonna lie.
They were saying they were like Ludacris and Nelly are gonna give him a hard time, and I was like, I don't know. Bro.
Nelly?
Oh,
Nelly. Nah, T.I. get Nelly up out of here, though. I ain't trying that.
All the way. Like, Ludacris is gonna put up a fight for sure, but I still think even T.I. is gonna get him out of there with how many big gigantic hits he has.
That was the verses I was hoping we were getting, because I think that would have been. I think that would have been a lot closer than Luda versus Nelly.
Me too. Yeah.
But I still think Luda is a tough out for most people, because even in the verses with Nelly, he didn't play a lot of stuff that I expected him to.
Right.
And I think, bro, he have a verses with Tip, and he played that verse off Stomp. Hold on, dog.
See, that's where it was at. Like when they turned him up with Nelly, I was like, what's Nelly doing here? He's not really, that's not really it. He needs to be out there with T.I.
Yeah.
But T.I. was like, I should be out there with Hove. And I was like, all right, let's relax, T.I. Let's maybe reel it in.
A little too much dip on his chip as well, dog. Like, hold on, dog. Like, I feel you, but hold on.
I know you're the Hove of the South, but let's relax, brother.
Yeah, dog. Yeah.
Remember when everybody was trying to be Hove, and then like Slim Thug came out and they're like, "Oh, he's Hove," and I was like, "Nobody's Hove, you guys. Let's probably stop."
Yeah, Slim Thug still be kind of talking crazy.
Hey, every time Slim Thugs talk, I'm like, they should probably stop talking to Slim Thug.
Stop asking him things. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why we went on a tangent, but yes, we are back to wrestling again. They're like, damn, these guys are talking about hip hop again.
You give us a chance. This is our Iggy. Iggy kicked that off.
I can't believe that's what got it.
WWE Backlash coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri.
It's soon, isn't it? I think it's one of those early ones because they got the UFC deal now. Like it's like at 3 p.m. my time, maybe. Because they're trying to do they do it in the conjunction with UFC because UFC's tonight, so like they're trying to do the show before that because they're all friends, you know.
Yeah, we're getting another one of those truncated 5-match cards. My criticism continues to be, if you're going to do a 4-match card, those 4 matches got to hit. I don't think that these 4 matches are the ones you want to run with. 5 matches for this card. Yeah, Redmond saying it's 7 p.m. Eastern time, so. Yeah, that's what, 5 p.m. your time?
7 Eastern is 4 my time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you, Phil. If we could do these smaller cards and give everybody more time, but the matches got to be like, damn. And these matches are not like damn. Like this is like a really good episode of Raw. Like it feels like this is like a bit at this point that we say these things, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think if you're gonna do,
I was about to be like, is Cody even on the show? But he's not the champion anymore.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're clearly trying to keep Cody off of the shows so you can give him some time off after such a long title run. But you're gonna do this big triumphant return. He's probably gonna be the guy that beats John Cena,
which makes sense. But it's still like, Cody, where is he?
Yeah, after he was the big selling point for a year. Then you completely take him off. And I don't think it hits quite like you want it to. And you're trying to make Cena the biggest selling point of these shows. And you've got so many other things. I mean, the fact that Rollins and this heel turn and everything is so popular and the crowd is behind it. Why wasn't that match from Monday on this show?
It's not even they're not even represented on this show.
Yeah. I mean, you're trying to sell us on Jey Uso as champion. And again, main event Jey Uso, and you've got this Rollins angle going against them. Why wasn't that on this card? I don't understand. But alas,
they put the Intercontinental title match on there over this. I'm hella confused.
When you look at the people that are on this show over Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, Dominic Mysterio, Pat McAfee.
I forgot.
What are we doing, dog?
I forgot about Pat McAfee. Oh my God, Phil.
What are we doing, dog? Like, you've got all this stuff coming out of WrestleMania, and this is the 5 matches you pick. I don't really understand that, but alas, let's get into these 5 matches. We've got Dominic Mysterio defending his newly won Intercontinental Championship against Penta. I don't like that they're putting Penta in this spot because he's clearly going to lose.
Yes.
It's too soon to take the belt off of Dominic with everything you've built up heading into WrestleMania and coming out of it. and your audience clearly likes Dom. So I don't think that they should have put Penta in this spot, at least not yet. I don't think they should have done it right after WrestleMania. Because like I said, it's very clear to me that Penta's gonna lose.
Yeah, this is like, and I'm not mad at it because Dom's hot right now. Like you should, like this should be, Dom should be winning at this show. I don't know if he should be winning over Penta in this moment, especially after like what they put Penta in for WrestleMania, which is great that he was on the card, but then he lost and then he's gonna lose another one kind of back to back. It's just not really the way that I would have went to it with it, but putting him in the show in the match does also make sense. So.
But if you're gonna put a title match here that people expect Dom to win, and you're just gonna put him against another luchador, why didn't you just give Dragon Lee this match? Dragon Lee has all the reasoning for one to challenge him after the stuff with him and Ray, and that's an easy match you can do and just have Dom win.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess I say that to say, where the hell is Dragon Lee?
Yeah, what is up with Dragon Lee? Why does he keep getting screwed out of these spots? It's crazy.
I thought that's what was gonna happen at WrestleMania as well. When you had to pull Ray, I was like, okay, put Dragon Lee in that spot. No, let's put Ray Phoenix in this spot and have him lose. But
he was on speed, and what's his face beat him. That's what happened this week too. Dragon Lee was the speed champion, and then El Grande Americano or whatever beat him for the belt.
They did the El Grande match here instead of the pay-per-view, and he just lost anyway, and he lost his belt that he had that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes. That's what happened, Phil.
Okay.
Somebody thought that was a good idea. So I was like, yeah, let's do that.
Listen, I guess, man, if you like pina coladas, get caught in the rain.
Listen, throw me one. It's Saturday. I'm in too, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, seems kind of crazy to me. I probably wouldn't the way I would have went about it in the 3-minute match, but you know, teach their own.
Yeah. Fatal 4-way for the WWE United States Championship. Big Jake will be defending his belt against LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. That clip of Drew McIntyre imitating him saying all gas, no brakes was fucking hilarious. This is again where I look at things like, you guys don't know where that came from. You're just doing this thing, and I know.
They'll never get it.
Yeah. This should be a fun match with the people that are in it. I assume this is probably going to steal the show with the amount of talent that's in this match. Jacob's got to be retaining though, right?
I would think so. Yeah, I think this is kind of the same thing as Dom. Is like, this guy's hot right now, just won the belt. This is not time at all to take it off of him.
Yes. I like the stuff that they've been doing between LA Knight and Damian Priest to justify this big matchup, and then throwing Drew in the mix. The only issue I kind of have with it is
they need something better for Drew.
Yeah, Drew feels bigger than this match.
That's it.
It just feels like they put him here because they don't have anything else for him.
Yeah. But Drew needs to be like in the world title division, and that's it.
Yes.
He's at that place now. He's not anything below being a main event star, you know?
It's funny because you can keep making these allusions to CM Punk with Drew, and Drew going from being in this big feud, this big career-making thing with Punk, and then losing and having to go away, and then all these other people that are basically nostalgics are in the world title picture, and he's not. It's just wild that they're still doing things that way. But like when you really think about it, like you've got Drew McIntyre off the year he had and the Punk feud and everything, and you're doing the Orton match, and
Logan Paul's getting a fucking title match and shit. Like the fuck?
Yeah, and Damian Priest is in the United States title picture. Like I don't really get that, but I suppose.
It's kind of the on par for Drew's career, though, of like he's always working way harder than they think he is.
Yes.
Like they don't know what they got, and they got a big star. And then it's like I felt like they knew what they had when he was champion and stuff, and was in that division, but then they forgot again.
Yes, it's wild that he hasn't been champion again since that time period.
Weird. Because like he has the fanfare, like like everything that you would think that they want, he has it.
And he's made the best out of everything you've asked him to do out of the last year. Even the WrestleMania feud with Damian Priest and everything, he's made the best out of all of it.
Yep, he's made the best out of all of his things.
Yes. Pat McAfee will be taking on Gunther, singles match.
Why?
Say what you will about this matchup. In the past, I will say about 2 months, Gunther has proven every time he's that guy. When you just give him the TV segments and you let him just talk and he looks like the biggest villain in the world, he's fantastic. That promo from this week where he's like, yeah, I choked you out before, but this time God himself could not pull my arm off of you. I was like, yo, this guy is out of here. You sure we can't just put the world title back on him? This guy is fucking great.
Yeah, just get it back to him. We could just run the way it was before this Jey Uso experiment and just forget all about it.
Yeah,
I'm mad he's being wasted on fucking Pat McAfee. I'm like, no, this guy's a legend. What's going on here?
Yeah, man, love Gunther. I think this is a good spot for him because more people are gonna learn of him for this. Like, I don't know that you needed to make this a pay-per-view match. You could have just made this a TV match. But like, the anecdotal evidence I'll give is that my dad doesn't like Pat McAfee. Hates him. He thinks he's corny. And so he was like, you see Pat McAfee get choked out by that guy the other day on TV. And that's what this is for.
Yeah.
Because you're going to give exposure to him. But I don't think that means you needed to do a pay-per-view match.
No, like I think this is good for Gunther. Like he needs that outside exposure. They're going to play this shit on ESPN. Pat's going to be talking about it on Monday on a show. Like, great for Gunther, but I don't know if a pay-per-view slot when we only got 5 slots was the way to do it.
So that's the thing. If you're doing more than 5 slots, I understand.
Yeah.
But it's limited spots on a pay-per-view, and then you're going to do this match. I don't know that you needed to do that. Do you think, based on the reports we're getting, that this is leading to us getting Goldberg's music towards the end of this to set up the big Goldberg match?
Is that what this is?
So we got the report, if you haven't seen, that they're in talks to give Goldberg a retirement match. And they've been at least hinting for a while getting to Goldberg versus Gunther. Gunther has made a few jokes about Goldberg. He cut that promo that night when Goldberg was in the crowd, and he said some things about Goldberg. That's been one of those matches thrown around a lot online. And the report from Fightful Select was that there has been at least talks about doing that match.
Billy ain't gonna want to do. I'm like, is Goldberg gonna want to get beat up by Gunther? Like, I figure he want his retirement match to be him being Goldberg squashing a fool, and he can't do that to Gunther. So I'm like, I'm on the fence with this. I don't know what the match would be.
What's a retirement match? I would have to assume that he's losing. Most people lose their retirement match.
This is Billy G. He don't care about that.
This is awesome.
Got to look strong going out, and that's the part.
I look strong, brother.
I got to get my heat, brother, going out.
I don't know. It kind of feels like they're doing the thing with Gunther where they already know that their audience likes him. They've got a big heel in him. And so you can do the mainstream style matches. And that leads me to believe that the Goldberg match has to be at least in talks, because that's going to be one of those big ones that, again, gets attention on Gunther.
Yikes. That's all I have to say. He going from Pat McAfee to Goldberg. Like, life is crazy.
Well, I mean, in wrestling terms, Goldberg is a legend. And that is a big matchup for him. Now, it only works if he beats him. If he just does all of this and then gets beat in 2 moves, that's not good.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's what it's going to be. No. But if it's going to be like a competitive Goldberg match, then I'm in.
Yes.
But I just can't see Billy doing that at this point in his career.
What is a competitive Goldberg match? Like, what is
That's what I'm saying? So I put
I don't know. But I mean, Zeno makes a great point. If you're just bringing all these celebrities in, and Gunther's the guy on the show saying, "Look, I'm sick of this. This is a wrestling show, and all of these guests you bring in, and he's just beating all those guys. I think you got money in that. I think that would be fantastic." But there's a shelf life for those kind of things, of course.
Yeah. Like, how many are gonna be worth anything? Like, eventually going to start to get into, I don't care if that Gunther's beating this guy's ass, you know?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I have no interest in what this match is probably going to turn into being, because it should just be a squash match, but I know that it's probably not going to be.
No.
Gunther is going to win this match, obviously, but like, this doesn't need to get a whole bunch of time.
I don't want to hear like how great of a wrestler Pat McAfee is after this match either. I hate when people do that shit.
Yes. The other thing about this, if you're doing Gunther versus the celebrities, does that lead you to believe we're potentially getting Gunther Logan Paul?
I would think that's going to definitely be a match at some point.
Yeah.
For the world title when Logan Paul beats Jace. So.
Oh, no. Don't put that into the world. No.
Logan Paul is definitely going to be WWE champion one day. I don't know if like soon, but he's not going to leave this company without hold that belt, you know?
Yeah. Lyra Valkyria will be taking on Becky Lynch for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. I was not a big fan of the way they resolved this tag team stuff for WrestleMania, going straight to the heel turn 2 nights later. Well, not even 2 nights later, the next night. I wasn't a big fan of that, but I do think that it has helped Lyra's Intercontinental title run, allowing her to cut promos. And this is again where I'm just like, say what you want about Becky. When you put Becky in there, the gravity around Becky is going to force you to put the women in a better spot. And they've been able to do more with Lyra as champion. Just her cutting those 2 promos has done so much for her because she actually has character. And the thing that Becky understands as a heel, and most good heels do, like I've seen MJF do this as well. They're going to come out and cut the promo, but they're going to leave enough room for the baby face to sound good and get over in the segments. And Becky has done that for Lyra.
Yeah, I didn't love the way that they got to it with that tag team shit at WrestleMania and the quick turn, but you need a big star to come into this division to add some prestige to that belt. And there's not a bigger star in the women's division than Becky Lynch. I think having her here in this position is going to get to what you're saying. You're going to get people being more comfortable, being in these big positions, being on these big segments on TV. That's what type of thing Lyra needs, and she's excelling at it. Becky is building. This is why you need Becky, because every time she talks, she's building a lot of buzz. People are talking about her just off of her interviews and stuff, and that's adding more to the belt, the division, the Intercontinental, all of that stuff.
I'm on the fence here on if Becky wins. I think it kind of feels obvious that Becky's going to win.
Yes.
But every time they've put Lyra against Io, I've been like, oh, well, she's just going to win. And then she ends up beating Io. And that's happened twice now. And so I'm not sure what to make of this. I think there's money in Lyra as a chaser for this belt. And I think there's so much you can do with Becky coming out as Intercontinental Champion and doing open challenges, for example. I am tentatively going to predict that Becky's going to win. I'm not certain on that, though.
It feels like this is Becky Lynch's match to win. Like, it would make sense to have her as a champion leading forward in the position that she's in now. That'll add a lot of prestige. But then on the flip side, Lyra getting a big victory over Becky and coming out of this feud feeling like she won over Becky would be good for her and the division also. So yeah. I don't know, you know?
Yeah, the Bayley return stuff makes me think that Becky's winning though, because the crowd is obviously going to be on Bayley's side because she lost her WrestleMania match, and they're going to be mad at Becky for taking her spot and then turning on Lyra anyway. So you've already got heat on Becky for that. So if Bayley's coming back, it doesn't make sense for Lyra to win. It makes more sense for her to then be a part of the crowd that's chasing Becky with the belt.
But then it shouldn't be Becky and Bayley feuding over the mid-card belt. Like, they should be both feuding with somebody else. Like, we shouldn't just be seeing more Four Horsewoman shit in a different division. You know what I mean? Like, should have been built to get away from that shit. Is my thing.
You could do the one-on-one match between Becky and Bayley without that belt.
Yes.
But I also kind of feel like you've got to do something to get people to care about that belt.
Also, yeah, that's the thing you run into. Because, like, I don't think they should, but, like, that's how you add prestige, is having the two of the biggest people in the division fight for the belt. So I'm also on the fence. But I think Becky's going to win.
Yeah. I think it would do a lot for Lyra to win, but I also could see them telling the story to not just move her on for an Intercontinental title, because again, the only person in the past year that's had EO's number is Lyra Valkyria. Mm-hmm. Rhea hasn't been able to beat EO, neither has Bianca, and now you've got somebody that had the mid-card title, and you could eventually move them up to the world title, and having her go up against EO would now matter because she has wins over her on the main roster.
So she could actually be okay with this loss then.
That's kind of where I'm getting at. I don't think it's the end of the world if she loses here, but if they actually stick the landing and give her a good feud with Becky and then move her on to the world title scene.
Right.
I kind of feel like she's on a trajectory to be in that spot that Liv was last year, where people were counting her out and saying, oh, well, what are you going to do with a world title run with Lyra? That could actually end up working out in a long run for her, though.
Yeah. So, this could go a number of ways. I think it works out for both ways, though. So that's good. Like, it's not, people are going to be mad on the Becky Hogan shit, but, like, she should be champion also.
But I think it's also just a good way to get heat on Becky. And like I said, with her doing like open challenges or even coming out every week and saying, why are you mad at me? This belt didn't matter. You guys didn't care about this belt. I'm doing what you guys would want me to do. And her husband famously did this with the men's Intercontinental title as a babyface. It makes all the sense in the world for her to do this.
It does. Yeah, Becky's winning. That's
so I don't know. I kind of feel like this is Becky's match to win, but again, I'm not 100% sure.
Should be a good match though.
Yeah, I mean, Lyra's been having great matches as champion. I think that they should have been doing more with her feuds and giving her more time to speak, but the matches themselves have been great.
Right.
Had that great match with Dakota. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
But yeah, I am surprised how much I've enjoyed Lyra as a wrestler since she's come up to main roster. I think when they give her time and put her in there, she's been having good matches.
Yeah, she can work.
Yeah. That video of her training and lifting the weights, have you seen this? She's got like the Disney Channel music playing while she's doing it.
No, I haven't seen it. Sounds silly.
So funny, man.
Disney Channel music.
I forgot which one of those boy bands she is playing while she's like doing like the big deadlifts and she's got Disney music playing. It's so funny.
I love it. Good on her.
I forgot which boy band it is. It's so funny, man. That's what it was. It was Big Time Rush.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Big Time Rush.
Big Time Rush.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That generation getting her pumping while Big Time Rush is blasting. That makes sense.
Yeah, that was really funny. The main event, John Cena will be defending the undisputed WWE Championship against Randy Orton. They've officially gotten rid of the Universal Championship naming convention here. They've officially retired that lineage. It is officially the undisputed WWE Championship, even though it is disputed because there's another World Championship.
Well, they don't care about that. Well, who cares about facts and things?
But yeah, this is being billed as, for the final time, John Cena versus Randy Orton in Orton's hometown of St. Louis. I think the build to this, when they've had the promos together, have been good, and I honestly feel like those segments that they had were better than the Cody and Cena segments, because Cena has a defined character, and I knew that was going to happen. That's why I kept predicting that Cena was going to win, because they haven't really scratched the surface with this character yet. And the more they give him time on TV, the more he's really filling the shoes of this character. And you've added, the stuff to sell shirts like Last Real Champion and all this other stuff. So I knew that's where we were going. Did you see this video of the guy throwing a bottle at Cena?
I did.
I was like, we're back, man. We're back to people throwing trash in the ring.
They rushed that guy so fast.
That guy, as soon as that bottle left his hand, my man touched his shoulder like, excuse me, sir.
Yep, let's go. I saw that. Let's get up. We're moving out of here. Yeah.
I need you to come with me.
Super duper fast. Yeah, I've been trying to think while you were talking if I've been less interested in a WWE main event in the last 5 years, and probably not. Randy Orton and fucking John Cena for the WWE champion. You guys, WWE fans should be rioting. They should be outside of WWE headquarters with pitchforks and fire. What the fuck? It's 2025, you guys. This is a Raw main event at best. Horrible. I can't believe they're subjecting you guys to watching this. You should be offended. Nobody's mad about this. People are like, that's great. This is great. John Cena in one of the worst matches I've seen in history just a few weeks ago against Cody Rhodes, and they're gonna put him against the second slowest guy in the fucking company. This is gonna be dog shit awful. Dog shit.
I will say devil's advocate here. Orton did beat a champion at WrestleMania. So he technically earned a title shot against another champion.
Orton did beat a champ to come into this really fast, gave him an RKO and all this.
So yeah. I was never a big fan of this feud to begin with. I was never this big fan of Orton Cena as a rivalry or a matchup. I'm less interested in this matchup today. It kind of feels like this is one of those, we have to get past this matchup to just go on with this. Like, if you're gonna do John Cena farewell tour, you of course got to check the box of the Orton match. And you're in St. Louis, you're gonna do it there, of course. And what Backlash is, and
he's had some horrible matches at Backlash, Randy Orton, so they got to continue it.
The history of Backlash being like the B pay-per-view right after WrestleMania, and you being able to get this filler match out, it's not the worst thing in the world. The issue
would be the best time to do it. Like if they did this at SummerSlam, I'd be screaming,
Exactly. It works here on the Backlash card. The issue, as we said earlier, is it's only 5 matches. Right. And so you have these other matches.
It's and the main event over that stuff.
The main event is this. And that's why I said if you did this and then you had the Rollins Uso match on the same card, it wouldn't feel as disappointing because at least you had another world title match here that's going to hit.
Right.
I'm with you. I don't really care about this matchup. It's very clear that John Cena is going to win because if you're selling me on John Cena trying to ruin wrestling and he's going to be the guy by the end of this farewell tour to take this belt away, it's too soon to take the belt off of him. And the guy that's going to beat him to save the company is not going to be Randy Orton.
No, it wouldn't make any sense in the world for all that shit that John Cena has been talking. Then Orton just beats him, and then that's it. That would be like pretty anticlimactic. This is definitely like we have to do this match. John Cena farewell tour, and the Tanahashi kind of thing of we're going to do all the things that kind of got him to the dance. We knew this Orton was coming, and you saying it out loud of Backlash. It's in St. Louis. It's like, okay, it makes sense, but it's going to still be dog shit though.
Yeah, we got to get through all of the greatest hits. I get
like
it.
if the Punk match, I'm going to be interested in. Like that's going to be fun. Like there's some John Cena matches that I know aren't going to be bad.
Correct. But yeah, I mean, I will at least say the segments were at least entertaining. John Cena telling this guy, no, you don't get it. I'm trying to ruin wrestling, you idiot. I'm trying to erase all 3 generations of what your family built. I was like, damn. Woof.
That is a bar though.
Yeah, no, the segments themselves were great, or Cena.
The issue is that Cena already did this. Like you need to erase what you did to the business if we're erasing anything. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah, Cena also going and coming out there and saying all this stuff just for Orton and say, you know what, I figured out what's wrong with you. Why don't you go away and have some kids, man? Like what's going on with you? Why don't you go and have a family? Take it from me. I've done it. Like I've settled down. Like this is what's missing in your life. You need purpose outside of this thing. And then Cena's retort is, what do you mean? I've spent all this time raising you people's terrible kids, and look what these people are in the crowd doing. And then there's a kid in the crowd flipping him off.
Good bit. You can still talk. It's still there. But yeah, I will agree with you on the segments have been better than the Cody stuff though.
Yeah. But yeah, the match itself has just been like, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to this match.
Interesting card, Philip Lindsey. Very interesting card.
Yeah.
After what the past couple of years of the Puerto Rico backlash and the energy that was around that, it's not going to be like that at all tonight. So,
no.
It's interesting.
No. I'm wondering, when are we actually getting this reported announcement for Evolution? Because we were told that there would be one, and it hasn't happened. So,
not anywhere in sight here. And like they could get to it, right? When was the projected date of it? This summer, right?
July. They were saying that it could happen July 4th weekend.
Oh, right.
So hopefully we're still getting that one. I don't know. But yeah, that is our Backlash card. Not a whole bunch to write home about, but this is your card. You're gonna get it and like it or not.
Have fun with this, brother. It should be fine.
Yeah. Last call for super chats, humper chats before we get up out of here.
We don't have any super and humper chats at the moment, or super chats.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be more of the same of what Phil's been saying for the rest of the weekend: basketball and wrestling. There's still a lot of wrestling happening. Best of Super Juniors is officially kicked off, so that's going to occupy a lot of time. I'm going to clock into that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all of our humper chats.
Oh, we got a super chat.
Okay.
Andreas Gaming says, stop complaining, gap tooth. I guess that's
What are we in 12th grade? What am I supposed to cut my stream off and go cry because you said something about my teeth? Okay, buddy.
Thanks for the money.
Thanks for paying to be a cornball, fucking idiot. And what was I complaining about? I was the nicest to this card of the two of us, but
complaining, whatever.
Yeah, it's cool. I know. Have fun watching this trash card, you fucking loser.
Fucking dick. But thanks for the money, though. That's cool. Say all the insults you want is like it's attached to money. Hey, we hate you. Here's money. Okay, cool.
Stop. I know you really wanted to get that off, but what do you want me to say? I don't know.
Got your ass. You're out of here.
Oh boy. Let me let me get upset now, loser.
Oh man. Okay, and then Tyrone Kidd says, any mention Nick Wayne looking like Tom Cruise?
You kind of did.
Was he giving off Cruise vibes, Mission Impossible Cruise vibes? He's growing. He's getting tall, man. He's gonna look like a different person in a couple of years. Shout out to the homie Nick Wayne. No, we didn't, but you did, Tyrone Kidd. Appreciate you.
Yeah. We didn't get a whole bunch into the episode of Dynamite. I thought it was fun. Again, got another big multi-man match.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyable matches. We got the culmination of the Mercedes and Jamie Hayter stuff. They did the classic. Jamie Hayter is doing a backstage interview. Wrestler comes in, attacks them. That ends up going into the crowd and gets onto TV. I love that they made it look like Mercedes was going to run away and be gone, like she's been doing all the other times, running away with her belts. But she came back afterward and continued to beat her down. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that whole segment was great. Mercedes interrupting her and Jamie immediately being like, ah! and chasing right after, I thought was so funny. The whole thing of Mercedes doing that, like when Anna Faris runs off on Scary Movie of like, ah, every time she runs away is hilarious. Like a great bit. I love that the energy that both of them are bringing. Everybody's like, Jamie has to win now. I just love that energy of she's getting back to the place that she was previously, you know?
Yeah, I think this is going to be good for Jamie in the long run. I don't think that she's going to win, but I do think it's good to get her back in the mix.
Yes, because she's a big star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The homie Louis R says, "Love you guys. F that dude." No, that's fine.
It's fine. It's not the last or first time that people are going to do things like that. He'll be all right. It's fine.
Continuously slandered. Life is slandered for your boys, but you know,
it's fine.
We don't let that boggle us down. We don't let that weigh us down.
No. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Curtis Brooks also submits a super chat. Says, I seldom get to listen live, but wanted to say thanks for being awesome. Thanks, Curtis.
Appreciate you, bro.
Jose, that's the dive is dope.
Yeah, Jose. I did see Thunderbolts. Great movie. Been a little hard that the villain is a guy struggling with mental health issues, but really good movie.
I'm like, aren't most villains struggling with mental health issues though? Isn't that the thing?
Yeah, no, really good movie. If you read a lot of comics within the early 2000s, you can see like a lot of the Brian Michael Bendis influences on this movie and some of the stuff that I won't spoil. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. Still thinking about Sinners. I've been thinking about Sinners for like 3 weeks. I feel like I want to go see it again.
It's all Sinners. It's all Sinners. It's all Sinners. Yeah, totally. Same here.
I believe that is all of our Humper chats, guys. Let me just double check.
That's all of our supers.
Very Phil Lindsey New Japan episode.
Mm-hmm.
You give me the chance, I will sit and talk about New Japan for most of the episode.
I love it. I think it's great. That's what our show should be.
From Meet Normus, what's good, Grapsody? Will Halliburton's dad be Gunther's next opponent after Pat? Why can't he just have a best of 7 win Sheamus instead? That would be very funny if McAfee's replaced in the end by Halliburton's dad. Really, really funny.
Really good bit.
I saw the clip of from the Madison Square Garden show from last year of Halliburton and Brunson standing next to the barricade, and they were like, "This could be the Eastern Conference Finals," and it's funny that might end up being the Eastern Conference Finals after all of this. That's really funny.
It could be. That's insane. Crazy how things happen.
Yeah, I mean, if that happens, I think the Knicks are going to the finals. because if that's the matchup, I think that the Knicks are going to beat the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Me and my dad are kind of in agreement. If OKC picks up this win somehow, if they get past Denver, I still think they're my pick to go to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
But if they somehow have to face the Warriors, I'm picking not just the Warriors to beat them. I'm picking the Warriors to win a championship because I think whatever team is coming out of West is going to win.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wish, I hope, but it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough journey up there for whoever it is.
Can you imagine after all of this stuff with firing their head coach and firing their GM, if Denver ends up beating OKC and going all the way to the finals and win a championship? That'd be crazy.
Somebody's going to really feel justified down there when they were getting slandered for making these moves. I mean, still for them to be even in this position off of that is crazy. So
I mean, they've got the best player in basketball. Jokic is the best player in the world at this moment.
He is. He's tremendous. He's amazing. Orphic Post says, Alistair cooking as a House of Black fan makes me mad. LOL.
Going back over there and showing, I'm still really good at wrestling. Very funny.
It's early. His early AEW stuff seemed like that too. You got to see what happens in the long run. I think it's a thing.
One of my favorite things coming out of the WWE wrestlers going to AEW, and some of them end up going back over there, is, I saw what didn't work here. Let me step this up. Punk going over there and coming back and getting in better shape, and all of a sudden on his best behavior over here. Saraya talking about, man, I'm about to go to the dungeon and train with Natty because I rewatched the Britt Baker match. All very funny stuff to me.
So ridiculous, but like it's how it should be. But it is really funny though. It's like, all right, it was ironic almost a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens in the long run. I think Orphic. Appreciate you submitting that super chat.
Yeah. I believe that is it. That's all of our Humper chats. That's all of our super chats, correct?
That's everything.
Appreciate you guys as always. We'll be back at our regularly scheduled time next week. Again, go check out our Gabe Kidd interview on our YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed, subscribe over there. This has been Grapsody. All of those folks that be trying to do their counter and go 4 hours. Ha 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 ha. We tricked you.
Gotcha.
4 hours for you. Not gonna get us again. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Righteous Reg. We are out of here.
Gotcha.